Is that your toxic trait?
I never click.
Sure, toxic trait. I never click my token on Roll20.
So it's your toxic trait.
You know, that's a fucking great tweet. Oh.
Well, you heard it here live first, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, we've been.
wait, are we live?
Hello,
Yeah.
adventurers. And welcome to the 107th episode of Dirty 20, an evening of laughter, drama, and adventure. We call it D&D Podcast. As I, your dungeon master for the evening, and once again, I'm joined by my colourful cast of characters. I don't think it needs to be said that obviously we don't have Hayden here again today. As always, hopefully we will have him back on the regular game as soon as possible. Until then, we're going to continue to run some one-on-one sessions until we hit a point in which he will be able to rejoin, which hopefully will be quite soon. But before we jump into said regular game, I would like to do our regular round of shout-outs, and I'm going to kick things off this week with... Let's start with Sam.
Hello, my name is Sam, otherwise known as Sam JKP on YouTube and Twitch, which you should totally come subscribe, follow, do all the things. Play Pokemon. Yeah.
Whoop!
Nice.
Nice.
Okay, that was
Nice.
a shout out.
It was half a shout out.
In which case, let's go to Maya next.
Hello. Go away. I'm doing a shout. I am normally nicer than that. I promise. Wink, wink.
She's not, she's lying.
I'm not. I'm lying.
Debatable,
I'm a
but-
terrible person.
You when the cameras are off.
Come and watch Animea, where I stream some stuff, Genshin Impact, some other games, and the old gameroonies. Yeah.
The old gameroonies.
Yeah.
The old gameroonies.
Thank you. That was very enlightening. And Mitch, you want to tell us about the two channels that you have?
Sure thing. One, Mondays at 7 PM BST or GMT +1 till 10. We do Star Wars Edge of the Empire by Fantasy Flight Games. That's me, Jay, Ewan, Sam, and a couple of our other buddies. And it's super fun. If you like D&D shows like this and you like a bit of sci-fi Star Wars, you're going to love it. So I would love if you could go over and click a little follow. Tomorrow we're doing a one-shot, so it'll be a good place to jump in if you've never watched before and just get a feel of what the system's like. Other than that, I'm Lambert Rain. I stream on twitch.tv/Lambert Rain. I've been playing a little bit of Formula 1 Racy Do. I've been playing a little bit of Dead by Daylight Killy Do.
Killy do.
It's good fun, and I try to be funny Do.
Emphasis on the try.
Yeah.
Other than those wonderful places, you can also check out our Discord, where we post stuff to do with the campaign, mainly in the form of maps and homebrew stuff and items that the group find on their adventures. So if you're interested in keeping up with that side of stuff, that is the place to be. During the game, we'll sometimes put stuff in there. So live in the middle of the game, you'll be able to check out some of the stuff that the players find, rather than it being up on the screen, so you can see their wonderful faces in better quality than rather than little small emblems whilst the map is up. So get on that if you're interested in that, and of course you can check out all our other socials where we are active on some of them, but mostly the TikTok, to be honest. A little bit of Twitter on there as well. So if you want to check out any of those, that'd be awesome. Other than that, I think that might be all of our shoutouts, unless anyone has anything else they wish to state beforehand. Alrighty then. In which case then, I suppose we should delve into today's episode of Dirty 20. And welcome back. So, previously on Dirty 20, drawn to Durnstead University by visions of the Illithid, you were granted permission to investigate suspicious disappearances around campus. Believing the Illithid to be involved, you ventured to the abandoned wing, destroyed several months previous. After an eerie venture, you came upon your suspicions, a row of pods containing the missing humans. After a period of indecision, the pods were released, the humans still alive, but through Eredhel's skills, they seem to be enduring a psychological torture of sorts. It was then that the Illithid returned, to the knowledge of only Eredhel, who suddenly lost control as a new host took over. Returning to the room, she breathed an insult to you all. She produced a psionic blast and began the battle. The Illithid, now within the room proper, joined the fray. With many of you stunned off the bat, Aria teleported away with one of them, landing on the snowy surface above. As the two fought, so did the rest below. Things looked bad for the group as you all continued to be impacted by the effects of the stun. Seeing the victory in the midst, the Illithid proceeded to leave the finishing touches to their Grell thralls. However, you turned the tide, forcing them to once again join the fray. Finally, both Illithid were struck down within the laboratory. However, above ground, seeing the losing battle, that Illithid managed to escape. With the fighting done, Aria led a team of guards down to the lab, whereby you all removed the humans and one of the Illithid corpses. The people were taken to the medical ward to be seen as the group dispersed. And that is where we pick up. Ferra Carta. You once again stand divided as you set your separate ways, at least for the moment. As you take time to call off, catch your breath and reflect. Where are you going? What would you like to do?
God.
Well, I said I was going to go speak to my sister at the end of the last session, so I'll do that quick. But if other people want to do stuff,
I'm going to move you back over to the campus map. I believe the campus map is in the Discord. So, Ari, you're heading to the map. To the map, or to see your sister.
we'd love to head to the.
Technically, that's not wrong, I guess.
It's not wrong at all.
The campus map is indeed on there. So, other than you, what is everyone else doing as well? Just so I can get an indication.
Crying in the snow.
Okay. I mean, understandable, to be completely honest. My music volume, yes, I know. I had a feeling it was a little bit high. I feel like I must have turned my mic down at one point. Thank you very much for that. Sorry. So, Eredhel, you are on your knees in the snow, the blizzard biting at you as you kneel down in the frozen water. The image of this figure vanished from your vision. Storm, I believe you were interested in taking the corpse to the medical ward.
Yes.
And to see the survivors.
Yeah. So I was gonna check them out, see how they're doing, and see if there's any kind of like medical ward, biology students or something.
Okay.
I think I'd like to join you on that, if you wouldn't push back.
Yeah, no, of course, yeah. Welcome you on.
Okay, so the two of you are heading to medical ward. Aria, you're seeing your sister.
Mhm.
Eredhel is
Having a mental breakdown.
having a breakdown. Okay, I'll write that down. Having a breakdown.
Breaking it down in the snow.
Sexual stuff.
Gaia.
Surroundings.
What time of day is it?
So, at this far north, it would probably look like it's beginning to be like late afternoon. And because you're so high in the mountains as well, it's you would know that you got up, early enough in the morning, and took your flight here. Probably past midday.
Okay.
But probably not too far past.
So there's still a lot of sunlight. Maybe
3 hours, maybe.
Okay.
Because you are very far north on the continent.
I would like to do a little, just being cautious, I would like to do a little, fly around of the area, kind of at, the same height that I was flying when we was on our way here. And just, see if I can spot anything approaching, anything that looks a little bit sinister.
Okay. And Kensei?
Bro?
Kensei?
Is he he's muted? Is he?
He's muted.
You know he's
Yeah,
muted.
he's muted.
The master's
It might not be
finally
yet.
killed him.
We'll come back to Kensei.
Alright.
So we'll start with Eredhel. Unless Maya might have. Is Maya? Are you here?
Nope.
Oh no.
All right.
Is there
I
a
guess
camera?
we'll start.
Oh my
We'll
god!
start with Gaiac.
go
We'll start
on.
with Gaiac. I had a feeling the camera went off.
Oh
for a
no.
reason. Gaiac, we'll start with you.
Yeah,
Relative
I want to do a kind of a scout from a height, just being.
You've knocked your mic out, I think. You've gone
Hey.
silent.
I heard him very vividly show. Oh, for fuck's sake! I could see his
It
lip.
wouldn't be a Dirty 20 stream without an egregious amount of technical difficulties.
Yeah.
We show a motif.
Oh, dearie me.
You hear me now?
Yes.
I can
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I know why. I need to turn my mic up. I turned the wrong... Sorry, I'm complaining to myself. I dragged the wrong audio to get louder. So, blah, 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 blah. I lost my train of thought. There's so many technical difficulties. Gaiac.
Yeah, I want to, scout from a height, the area around, see if, just to be cautious, see if anything's approaching, if anything looks different, or just if I notice anything that I didn't notice before about the area.
Okay. So you fly up into the air. Roll me a perception check. I'm going to give you disadvantage on this because there is a blizzard going on.
Okay, I will guidance myself though.
Alright.
Fingers crossed.
Ooh.
Alright. So 22. Very, very good. Okay. So as you launch yourself into the air, there's still a good amount of adrenaline pumping through your veins right now. As you fly up above the campus, back into the air, you begin to kind of make this circle around the mountain peaks and the area in which the campus is situated. Even through the blizzard, you're getting very good visual representation of the environment around you. As far as you can see, other than the buildings as part of this campus, there really isn't any civilization. You see the road that descends the mountain back down. That is obscured in fog, but you can kind of gauge that it's a good distance down. The surrounding area seems to be very, very empty. Mountain peak wasteland, really, just snow and ice and rock.
Okay.
You feel confident there's nothing obscure around this area? Is there something in particular that you're trying to gauge from this?
I mean, I guess I was just looking for if anything's like changed. I guess, given what we've
Okay.
just done.
So, given that you didn't have a great look beforehand, I'd say that, as far as you're aware, nothing has changed. Certainly nothing that was very obvious. Nothing about the buildings are physically different. I mean, you can certainly see that there is a significantly lower amount of students that are moving between buildings. You can see that they have mostly been kind of like locked down. It looks like the campus is being not closed, but everyone's being sent back to their rooms, and classes seem to be suspended at this point.
Okay. Yeah. So once I've finished kind of looking around, I'll fly back down to the campus. And if there's like a wall that kind of faces out down that mountainside, I'll kind of perch there and just look out.
Sure. You can land on one of the walls that looks down the mountainside. It descends into mist and fog.
Okay. And I'll just sit there for a bit, for an hour or two.
Okay. As you sit there, what I will say is you can see, as you're flying down to that perch, you can see Eredhel is near the front gates. That is where the walls are. And she's just like on her knees in the snow. Like at this point, about a quarter buried in the snow, where it's just beginning to fall and cover over her, and she just doesn't seem to even be moving. I mean, she looks alive, but
I will jump off the wall, kind of glide down to her, and just put my hand on her shoulder and see if she reacts in any way.
She kind of like she flinches and looks around really quick, and then she like sees it's you in her face, kind of like falls. It's like her eyes are like red and puffy, like.
So I could, okay. You should go inside.
And do what?
It's better than being out here.
I feel like I'm losing my mind.
We all do.
Could have sworn I just saw my father.
What do you mean?
And she raises her head and like points to where the gates are. He was standing right there. And then he just disappeared.
Like a ghost.
Yes.
I've seen similar things before of my father.
You have?
Yes, since what happened with Thrisk, I believe they're always with us. Watching over us. Even at our worst points.
That's nice to think about. I hope so.
But even though it's no use sitting out here in the freezing cold, we should go inside.
She's gonna turn around and she's gonna like put her arms around you, and she's just gonna like bury her face into your chest.
I'll just kind of like wrap my wings around her and kind of like shield her from the snow. I don't know. What's she doing in there?
She's snuggling. She's
What's she
motorboating.
doing in there?
He's motorboating them sweet, sweet
Are
ride.
you in it? Oh my
She's
god.
hugging you dumbass.
After like a minute or two, I'll kind of, I will have my cloak on at this point, and I'll kind of like move my wings and put my cloak over her and try and like lead her towards the main building.
You kind of see her like
Alright.
snivel a little bit, and then she turns to you and she goes, "I'm sorry, you know."
You don't have to be sorry. It was The worst possible situation.
She kind of nods. That's it.
Which building are you walking to?
I guess like the main admin building. I think that was one that we was all in like before we split up, right? So I'll take her in there.
No, you were in the main lecture hall foyer where you would come out of the abandoned wing.
I'll still probably go into the admin building. I don't want to be anywhere near the abandoned wing.
Yeah, that's fair enough. So you head on up with Eredhel there, and with that we'll jump over to Aria next. So, Aria, you've left the group in the main lecture halls and headed straight over to, well, where you remember Marie's room to be, heading into the dorms, through which you can see crowds of people like looking, like whispering, and one of the students kind of like who was in a group inside one of the rooms. You can see most of their doors are ajar. Just watches you as you pass, and just says out to you, "What's happening?"
Oh boy, where to begin to answer that question? A lot of stuff, but it's being handled. You're all right.
Marcus says he saw a monster. What does that even mean?
It means they're real.
And they're here?
Unfortunately.
Tell me. Are we all going to die?
Not if we have anything to say about it.
Return away back into the room. So yes.
Excuse me, I 1v1. Thank you very much. Speak for yourself. Speak for yourself.
Oh, brilliant. Because it's true.
Speak for yourself.
So as you head on back up the dorms, following the route that you were taken before with Marie, eventually you come back to the sort of like the row of studio accommodations, and heading along down the hallway you come to the room that you remember to be Marie's.
Knock on the door.
As soon as you make contact with the door, you hear like a scramble through the room. As you hear the door kind of like open,
I just hug her. Don't say nothing.
she like grabs at you, like you can feel her gripping into the clothing behind you, and she's just like shaking. You feel her tremble in your arms.
Oh.
And very quickly you feel like the stain of damp across your chest as she begins to just like convulse and sob into your arms.
Hey, come on now. Come on, it's alright. It's okay.
I saw you fighting in the courtyard.
Oh, you saw that? Did I
I
look?
thought you were going to die.
Did I look cool though? Okay, I'm sorry.
How can you make jokes at a time like
That's
this?
how I deal with stuff. I deflect using humor. Are you
I
alright?
thought you were going to die, Aria. What was that thing? It was disgusting.
You can picture what it looked like, yes?
In my mind. See?
Good. Good. I'm glad some other students have
Don't-
seen it as well.
I don't want to remember it.
I know.
It was like a nightmare.
They are terrible creatures, but unfortunately... And I'm gonna take her over to the bed and sit her down. I have quite a tale to tell you, Marie. That you are smart enough and strong enough to understand it, I think. And I'm gonna tell her everything that we've discovered about the illithids, you know, and you know, say what happened in the Underdark and what we've seen, as gently and composed as I can.
Okay, well, As you inform her,
Aliens.
you can see her aliens. She is like really trying to keep her composure, but you can see like confusion, fear, disgust crossing her face, fear of whatever it is that you're talking about, and also a fear of what you've got yourself into. It is a complicated conversation.
I know it's a lot to take in.
I think that might be an understatement.
Yes, it probably is. But you need to know. Because this threat is very real. As you saw.
You told the Queen.
Cecilia is
Well,
aware.
that must mean that... I don't even know what that really means.
Yes. I mean, you know me. The politics, etiquette, that was never my forte. You were far better at that than I. But we seem to have convinced her to get ready for this. She's meeting with Theodore, so some people want to do something about it. And of course there's us.
I hope that she takes it seriously.
See, so do I. She has to.
Well, after what I saw, what we all saw, I don't think there's any hiding this or not. There's no way that anyone can refuse to accept this now.
Well, yes, there are several eyewitnesses, which is fantastic. How do you feel about staying here?
I don't know right now. There's so much going on in my head. I don't know.
Of course, the threat has been dealt with, for now anyway, but
As far as you're aware,
I don't know if I feel safe with you staying here. I know you want to be here, and I would never ever want you to feel like you have to give up your dreams, but I don't know. With that thing beneath the university, it makes me nervous.
I can't help with, I was going to say this, but anything, if I run away from things. This is the best place to learn, and I need to learn. I love Toby so much, but I can't spend my life in Ravenwood like him.
You always were mentally a lot stronger than I. In many ways.
After the story that you just told me, I don't know how true that is anymore.
I hope they at least up security after what they've seen. They should. I have a word with some of the guards on the Dean saying they need to.
I think it would be hard for them to disagree.
Yeah. Well,
See me before you go, though.
Yeah, oh, of course. I'm not going to just leave. Yes, but me and my group need to discuss a few things, and we'll see about what our next step is. Well, I'll come and see you.
Arya,
Yes?
do you trust them?
My group?
See,
Yes. Well, it's complicated. I think that trust has been tested too many times, and I feel like it has created a rift in the group.
Well, I trust you with my life.
You know, I'd give my life to protect you. You know that.
I would never ask you to do that, but yes. I believe you.
Can I ask you for some advice?
Who are you?
Yes, I know it's funny, but I've messed up. I've messed up, little sister. I've done some bad things.
How so?
I've lied a lot to people that I called my friends.
I see.
What would you do if you were me?
Well, you said you trust them, right?
Yeah.
I would say that I'm sorry. And tell them how much they mean to me.
It's a good start. It's a good start. I'll try that.
One of the things that I've learned here, which I think has been difficult, is to realize that not everyone is out to get you. Not everyone has a ploy to use you. Sometimes people care about you, not because they think they can use you, but because they're your friend, maybe even your family.
You almost
hope
sound
you,
like a mother.
Well, maybe I've taken to listening to her. Maybe she wasn't completely wrong.
No, I don't think she was.
I hope you work things out.
I hope so too. You be on your guard always, please, with what's just happened.
I don't think I can not.
I know you're not an idiot. But I can't help but worry, you know, you're my little sister.
I know, and I love that about you.
I'll give her a hug and a little kiss on the forehead.
She'll hug you tightly again, and pull away.
Alright. I'll see you again when we head out, okay?
Stay safe out here.
You too, baby. Now, head out and go find the group.
Alright. As you leave, we will go to Zuko and Storm as you are heading with the Eredhel corpse, I believe. Across to, I believe we said it was the admin building, towards the medical wards which you had previously seen some signage to inside.
Medical.
Would you
admin
is
building?
that-
Yeah, sounds good.
Alright.
Yep.
Okay. So the two of you walk across the campus into the building. I think you're fairly infamous here now, as you're kind of guided up towards where the medical ward is. I would imagine that a verbal word has been left at the desk for folks that match your description. Of course, there are very few people here that match that description, and thusly it's fairly obvious that you two are the ones in question who are kind of guided up towards the medical ward. You find yourself heading through one of the doorways in the main admin building, down a long corridor, and then up through a staircase, 2 floors. As you reach the top of that floor, you can see the doors here are painted white over and have frosted windows on the front. And as you push open one of the doors, you can see again this long hallway with what best can be described as like a few medical gurneys along the hallway. You can see very large double doors every so often down the hallway as well, which you can imagine lead into larger ward spaces, and individuals in white garments and other sort of medical clothing are passing through as you step forward into this space. I think you stand out. So I'd say that one of the people down the hallway kind of notices you, and will head on over towards you. As they approach, you see this human man looks to be in his sort of like probably early 20s. There's a little bit of stubble around his jawline, and he's wearing like a blue overall as he steps over towards you with like leather gloves on.
Greetings.
Well, I would say that it's good to meet you, but I think the circumstances are rather
Grave.
Yes. I've been told that you were to visit the patients that were found in the abandoned wing, and also that you were bringing... Oh, there it is. And he sees like the corpse. Yes. Well, Dr. Pike will be waiting for you and he gestures to one of the wards up on the left, towards a set of double doors. Just in there, that is where the patients are currently being are.
I think it's
But we
wise.
can take the corpse off your
Yes.
hand towards the morgue, ready for dissection.
That would be greatly appreciated. I try to give it a once over myself, but I am not trained in biology.
Well, fortunately, you're in the right place. Nurse, and he kind of gestures over to the side, and this young man comes over with a gurney, and kind of they both go to take the corpse to put on the gurney itself. Do you resist that, or do you allow them to take the corpse?
Yeah, I'll allow them to take the corpse. But as they take it, give them, please. We know very little about its anatomy. Practice extreme caution. We don't know. Could have an adverse effect on you.
Of course. We will take the utmost safety and caution with it. We will send word once the procedure has been completed.
I recommend if you can get in touch with the guard, have them protect the body. I think,
Of course. Do you know anything about this thing? He looks at it, and it's taken a second to really process it, and then he's really realised that this is a living humanoid creature that is obviously dead, but was a living creature. And you can see there is a look of distant horror in his eyes.
It's a monstrosity. It's what it is. And there's potentially countless more underground. They are called the Illithid.
I pray to Ogma that you're lying about that.
I wish. I really wish. It's imperative that we learn as much as we can about them in order to be able to stop them. I know it's not something you've dissected before, but any anomalies or anything that could be found out, really. We know they are hive-minded. You have any people that specialize in brains here?
Our knowledge of brain anatomy is limited, but I'm sure there's someone who will have special expertise in the area. Shall see whose field is relevant.
I surmise there will be something of note in the brain, purely because of their hive mind abilities. Psionics, if you have heard of them.
I have no knowledge of what it is you speak.
Think of innately magical creatures that use their brain as their source of power. Mental manipulation,
So it
coercion.
truly is a horror then.
Indeed.
We will take caution with this. Thank you.
Sorry,
Gives a nod.
what was your name? We didn't quite catch that.
Edgar.
Edgar.
I'm not officially I'm a third year student here. I will not be undertaking the procedure. I am here to collect.
I understand.
He'll give you a final nod as they turn the gunny around and begin to move to a far area of the hallway.
This is the first time we're actually talking to people and they believe us.
I suppose it's a little hard to deny,
Yes.
given what just happened.
Have you not felt like a madman shouting into a long cavernous hole past few months?
I can imagine it was quite difficult.
Hmm.
Standing in front of some of the people who could be the most influential in helping you, and having them ignore you.
Very frustrating. Oh, I just hope this means we're going to see a time of change.
I believe we will. And perhaps those up them stairs have the answers we need.
Yes. They must be of some importance. I know we must make tracks not long after this, but I fear they won't just let this slide. They'd want to reattain their assets.
You mean these individuals?
Perhaps. Or the body itself.
I see. Well, hopefully the guards are well trained.
Let's hope so. Let's see how they're doing. If they're
Just-
even awake.
Quick question: did we destroy that network thing before we left, or because I wasn't here last week?
It went like quiet,
husk,
basically. It's
It curled up like the reverse of a flower, went
Like a
back
spider.
into like a bud.
It's spider.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Well, yes, but I suppose like in terms of like how closed it went, it was like a flower going from blooming to like back to a bud.
Oh,
Right.
okay,
It's
It
like it
curled
was
its way
reactive.
right, rather than like this. It really curled back in like a muscle knot, like really tight together.
Okay. Especially with the lab underneath, you're right. They probably will want to come back here.
Yes. Okay, let's waste no time.
Yes. Head up.
Alright.
Jinx.
Okay. You head over towards the door that was gestured towards you. As you open it, immediately you can see in front of you there's like a curtain that surrounds this area. So I was just changing the sound there. So there's like a curtain immediately beyond the door with this smaller space. A guard stands there and immediately like puts a hand up. Hold. Kind of sees who you are after kind of like instinctively halting you. Doctor, the guests have arrived. You hear like a shuffling behind this curtain that blocks off the rest of the room. You can see like there's a cover over the top. It's almost like this curtain has been erected very recently and haphazardly, but the sheet kind of pulls across, and you can see a doctor in like full overalls, like a hood that's been pulled over the top, and effectively what looks like a plague mask over the face. Though rather than those elongated face, it's very stunted, very pulled down, like raven, almost like a parrot's beak, in that it curves down.
Ah, I see. Yeah.
But he stands behind you. His speech is muffled behind this mask. However, I'm not going to sit here and just go talk like this for the whole time.
Yeah. Their mind.
Darth Vader
But as he stands there in front of you, completely covered, and rather than like the blue of the other doctors, he is in like full get up, like this dark brown get up. You can't see any skin on him. Yeah, I knew someone was going to make a bait joke there. You've thrown me off there. As he stands there, I assume you're the people who've come to see the patients.
That's
Yes.
right.
That's us.
Very well. Before you enter, you must put these on. And you see the curtain pull back again. You hear some footsteps leave and then return shortly thereafter, bringing over like these two
What was he wearing, Zuko?
like clothing sets.
I think it's probably a little unnecessary. It's probably too late for us if it was there in the first place.
Yes. What I very curious mask you have.
Here, put these on.
What's
It's imperative that you maintain a containment.
containment of
There is
what?
no telling what you could introduce to them or what they could introduce to you.
I just look at Storm to see how he's feeling about this.
I must insist.
Fine.
It makes you comfortable, right?
It's not really my
It is not
colour.
about comfort, it is about safety.
Puts it on.
Yeah, I'll chuck it on.
Alright, you take a few moments. It's almost like rubber as you like stretch it over and put it across. It's pretty sticky on the inside in terms of it just being like rough and rubbery. Just put your latex garments on. The mask over.
To the BDSM.
In a different environment, this would be a very different
Yeah, I thought
get-up.
this was a medical ward, not a BDSM ward.
Look, you guys aren't the only ones who could put. No, I'm not going to finish that. So you, as you finish putting the garments on, thank you. And he pulls the curtain back
That's
and
fine.
allows you to step forward. As you step through the threshold of the curtain, you can see the ward in its entirety now. It's a large room with several beds, each with their own individual curtains separating them, and on the some of the beds here are the patients, the people that you saw in the pods that have been brought here. All of them seem to be in a state of unconsciousness, as far as you can tell. Next to each of them, there's a small. Oh, there we go. I wonder if I have one. Next to each of these beds, you can see like a small metal, rollable table, with like various needles and medical instruments on there, and small vials of, or small little pots of liquids next to them.
Do any of them seem conscious? Any of the patients? Or are they all?
Not as far as you can tell right now. They all seem to be asleep.
Doctor, have you made much progress with any of them? Any response at all?
Unfortunately not. They all seem to be in a coma of sorts. We've tried multiple stimuli and they have not awoken. Their eye movement would indicate that they are in a state of deep sleep.
We know for certain they are under a lot of psychological duress.
I can imagine. The lacerations across their bodies are barbaric, to say the least. Some of them, those that will have been gone for the longest, seem to have been operated on multiple times.
Can you tell if anything was removed or inserted?
We have not done operations on ourselves to look inside the body, but I have done some preliminary testing on them. Their bodies, some of them do seem as if organs have been slightly rearranged.
For what? Yes, it's disgusting, isn't it?
There are
What are they?
lacerations and signs of operation on the skulls of 3 of them. I have reason to believe that pieces of their brain have been removed. Some of their sensory nodes are not responding to certain stimuli. For example, and he walks over to one of the men that are laid down, takes out how do I describe this? Takes out like a small like device, like a little small hammer. I'm sure we all know where this is going, and knocks it on the left knee, and you can see it kind of jolts a little bit, and he knocks it on the right, and there's no movement. As you can see here, the brain is not processing this nerve. It is unfortunate.
I believe we may need to check what the specific rearrangement has been in the minds and bodies. Perhaps we take advantage of the fact they're unconscious.
What do you mean by that?
Better to check now than to after they're woken up. Correct?
I'm not prepared to operate on a living patient when it is not necessary. They are alive currently. To operate on them could introduce infection, and depending on the damage, it could kill them.
Infection.
Especially in the state that they're in right now. What you're suggesting is that I risk their lives for information about what has happened to them. Right now, the most important thing is keeping these people alive.
Infection and death could be the least of our concerns.
With all due respect, you are not a medical professional. I do not know exactly what... If you are, then I would assume that you do not know about human anatomy. I do. I've studied it.
You see what
These
was out in
people
the courtyard?
could die.
The things down there were inhuman and were doing inhuman things to these individuals. There's no...
Then all the more important that we do not act like them and cut them open for no reason.
Of course.
I'm sorry, but I'm not prepared to do this. I cannot. It is against my oath. I can give you what information I can, and if one of them unfortunately meets their demise, then I'm sure that an autopsy will reveal the information you require. But
That's all we're asking.
if they do survive, then that means regardless of the operation, of the procedures that have happened to them, they are able to live.
Fine. Yes. No. I do agree. We wasn't saying to risk all their lives. I understand. I just don't think. Oh, my head's dead.
I will tell you what information I can, once I've been able to observe and run more tests. I've only had these patients here for but half an hour.
Yes.
I was told that you brought a body as well. Not human.
No, I agree. We shouldn't be risking anybody's lives. I'm sorry. It all seems everything's happened so suddenly. I didn't realize it had been such a short amount of time. Perhaps, Storm, we could keep in touch with Doctor, and as soon as any of these individuals regain consciousness, you could message. Ask them what they remember.
Yes. Sorry. We found out some information about what they could have been doing.
What?
Inserting things inside of people.
Oh. Yes, the ramifications of that could be quite dire.
Yes. Eredhel may have been right.
But we should let them recover.
Yes. I recommend you get a guard detail posted on them. Day in and day out. Outside.
I've already put in the request. Any information that you can give to me or my associates would be greatly beneficial into understanding what has happened to these people.
Just
Whatever was done to them is barbaric.
Just to make sure, not metagaming, right? But we did find out from the research, I think it was whatever, and Eredhel explained to Aeria, who then explained to us about inserting.
There wasn't anything about the subjects in the research.
Ah,
there
there
wasn't
was-
anything about them.
What
As
was
far
I
as I
know
know,
we
let
looked
me
at recently
double
about the tadpoles being
I mean-
baby illithid, didn't you?
Yeah, so they said about humans, and they said that this is the information that I've told Aeria that I'm assuming she would have told you, that they make excellent subjects for reproduction and have taken well to this process, and that their brains are a delicacy for illithids. So they're good for food. So they're planning on making like humanoids into cattle, essentially,
Mm.
and using them for reproduction as well.
Okay, then I won't say what I was gonna say then, because I probably don't quite know that yet. It's imperative that we find out what they've done to them.
I must tend to the patients and begin my tests.
Yes, sorry.
Storm, would you
Please leave your clothing in the quarantine section.
Storm, would you be able to send the doctor a message in his current get-up? Are you familiar enough?
I don't think he'd appreciate it, but
I mean, if in a few days'
What
time
do you
to
mean?
check in. Is that not?
I'm confused.
Ah, yes, I seem to remember a certain detail. Never mind. Doctor, we wish you the best of luck. We're sure the patients are in the most capable of hands.
The name is Dr. Holden Pike, if that is what you mean. You require my name to send me a letter?
send your letter, yes.
Yes, that's correct. Thank you.
Holden Pike.
Goddamn, no magic laws.
Yeah, I was wondering if you were going to catch on to that when you kept saying, can we send him a message?
Yeah.
I
I was like, oh wait.
was like, y'all want to get arrested?
I remember where we are.
New magic.
No magic.
Dr. Toboggan.
Storm, shall we?
No sending.
I guess that's scarce.
Yes, I need to rest my head. It feels like it's filled with
All right. So we
more.
take all our gear off and have a walk back towards. And on the way over,
Oh,
Storm,
Nick.
where did that come from?
Where? What?
You all of a sudden want to cut them up and find out what's inside of them?
No, I misspoke. My head is pounding. I didn't mean cut them up now. I meant
We're hoping that they'll recover fully. That was the point, right? We rescued them.
yes, no. I don't want to re-surgery them. No, that's not what I'm saying.
Okay, you just
Want to
didn't.
find out. He said there's something being changed in their brain.
I think he said that they think part of their brains have been removed.
Hmm.
Do we, in character, know? Well, we know that Eredhel has a tadpole in her brain.
that-
but We
yeah.
don't know that.
It feels like we should have a.
You
at
could
least
you
a-
could probably
Well, I
assume.
mean,
Put two
But-
I
and two
feel
together.
like you've been told
Zuko has
that
literally-
the tadpole in a brain controls Eredhel. Technically speaking, I don't think you've been told that the tadpole is specifically the cause of ceramorphosis.
Zuko.
Eredhel, however, does 100% know that tadpoles equal ceramorphosis.
I don't even
'cause
think
her
we
mother told
know
her.
about ceramorphosis. I don't even know if we know about
We know-
ceramorphosis.
No, I don't know if you know. I don't know if you know
has
the specific
Zuko
term.
has like a whole jar of tadpoles found in the room where we found them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're in.
So
That's
you-
a smart idea.
You don't. Yeah. So you as far I think based on the information that you have, you could come to the conclusion, especially those of you with a higher intelligence, probably could come to the conclusion of what the tadpole could
Zuko, then.
equal. But what you could,
Not
yeah, so not Zuko. So
Plus one.
however, what I would say is that you would obviously be able to make the correlation that the tadpole equals control of
Yeah.
The brain.
of someone, in the same way as far as you're aware, like intellect devourers, for example, the brains with legs could just as much turn people into illithid
As
as
for all we know.
the tadpoles,
Yeah.
right? Like they both effectively do the same thing. For the sake of what you know at the moment, obviously they don't in like reality.
No, but
Um,
that's our knowledge within.
but Eredhel does know that it is that, but you've not had a real conversation about it to put that to be given that immediate conclusion.
We just don't know
Breath.
what they could have been doing to them.
Is there some sort of spell you could cast to locate it if they did have something inside their brain?
feel like I could barely cast a word, let alone a spell right now.
Alright,
Head
we're
throbbing.
still pretty beat up, yes.
It's like
Perhaps
having an anvil dropped on your head, even with intellect fortress.
perhaps we rest and think about
Yeah.
that in the morning. But think on if there is a spell you could use.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Eredhel,
Right.
perhaps could do something. She could reach out. See if
I
there's
remember
another
she-
consciousness in there. Surely there's.
Sorry.
Yes. She's
She
tried it
attempted,
before.
didn't she? Yes.
Yeah, but she hasn't been thorough enough. Maybe, I don't know. Let's go back to the others.
Where are we? The lecture halls, the dorms?
Didn't actually establish a place to stay, did we?
Nope.
Get some fresh air and
Yes, good idea.
eat in the courtyard.
Let's go to the fountain.
I was about to say, Arya would have made, if she couldn't find anyone, she would have just sat by the fountain and waited for people to show up.
Yeah, that's where we would head.
Alright, so what I'll say is there's, well, before we go on to that, Kensei, what would you be doing in this time as everyone's kind of split up?
Bleeding profusely.
Valid.
Val?
I think
What a
we managed to
shame, what a
get
shame, what a
every-
shame.
I think we managed to get every angle covered. The Dean's off, isn't he?
He's
The
down
Dean,
there.
yeah, so the last you saw the Dean was him heading down to through the abandoned wing.
Does
The dean's gone down there.
Yeah, with
Oh,
some
oh,
guards.
your guards.
He went down with some guards.
Yeah.
One of those big worms is going to eat him.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, we had.
I forgot about
there
the
was
worms.
another one, wasn't there?
Suddenly,
Oh,
you all
shit.
hear this.
There was literally more than one
Yeah,
worm.
we
Oh,
did our best.
holy
They're not
shit.
worms.
Worms!
not the worm.
Oh.
Rest in peace.
They're all
Peace.
dead.
Ripping pepperoni. It's the worms world now.
Wise
Pepperoni.
Oh, God.
Worms world.
Alright, well,
Anyway,
now,
sorry.
Gonna
now,
need a new dean.
now that we've doomed the Dean to death, when we visited the Dean's office, did he have like anyone outside his office, like a receptionist or anything like that?
He. Oh, goodness.
We spoke to one, didn't we?
I'm gonna say. Yeah, I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna say yes. There is. Whether it happened last time, he hired one in the last half an hour.
He's like, you work for me now.
I need you. Work for me now.
I will ask her instead if there is a place that we can briefly rest while we're here.
Okay.
Possibly like any empty like dormitories or anything like that.
That's you're asking the secretary for the dean. Yes, the dean's assistant. Okay. Alright, so as you head up through the admin building, possibly with Storm and Zuko as they went to the medical ward, you veer off back towards where you know the dean's office to be, up that staircase to the top floor. As you come to his office, you can see the door obviously closed, a desk in front of it where you can see the secretary kind of like going through some paperwork. Clearly looks up at you. He's not here at the moment. He's... Can I help?
Yes, as you can see, me and my companions are rather in a bit of a spot. Is there any way that the university could put us up in some accommodation for at least?
I'm sorry to interrupt. Do you need medical assistance?
I need.
You are bleeding profusely over the carpet.
I will need a place to sleep, and then sure. Okay, is there any place where we can
see.
rest?
Yes, the dean actually put aside 2 rooms for you and your companions here in with the rest of the staff quarters.
Where are they?
and she'll kind of give you some directions. So kind of in a similar direction towards where you went to investigate one of the rooms. It's not the same room, but there are 2 rooms adjacent to each other that she will kind of guide you towards. Following that way through, you can see eventually as you come to these doorways, they're simple rooms. There's a single double bed. Then a separate sort of lavatory area and a living space, which includes a small kitchenette, a balcony, and a living room with a fireplace and some chairs around there, and a dining table. It's very, very simple. It's not extravagant. It's basic features in these rooms, which you can imagine that the staff themselves probably make purchases for their own furnishings, and these are the basic ones that are gifted by the university. But there is a place to rest.
Thank you. I don't know when he'll next be free, because obviously a lot has happened, but if you could leave a message with the Dean that we need to meet as soon as possible when he gets back.
I shall inform him when he returns.
Thank you. Now, if you don't mind, I would like to lie down.
Of course. Here are the keys, one for each room. If you're going to bleed on the sheets, I would ask that you please strip the bed afterwards. So that,
I've already closed the door and I'm on my way over to the bed.
The camera from outside just sees her go.
Well, I've never.
Alright, you head over to the bed and slump down, and I'm guessing you're attempting to take at the very least a short rest here.
Just a wee little lie down.
Alright.
He's out of there.
Yeah, you hit the bed and woof, you are out. I'll say that you can take a short rest over the period of time that Ari was telling the story to Marie, and all the other things are going on.
I don't think I have any hit die left for a short rest.
You might not, but you'll get some features back if it's important.
Yay.
When we have a PvP in a minute.
I mean, don't rule it out. Battle Royale 2.0.
I mean, I'm never going to rule it out, considering the current circumstances.
Big boy.
Okay, so aside from Kensei, as you all kind of converge within the fountain area of the campus, as Storm and Zuko leave, Ari, you're already kind of sat on there, and Gaik and Eredhel, you're making your way from the entrance. Those of you there spy each other within the blizzard that is going on. It looks a bit like a weird Mexican standoff right now, as you're all kind of stare, looking at each other. The storm just blowing snow across you, blurring your vision. But you are the only ones out here, aside from a couple of guards that patrol the area, and you can see that anyone here that has a weapon is on patrol.
What time is it?
At this point, you can see that the sun is beginning to set.
Amazing.
It's probably mid-late afternoon. You see the sun at this point is in the middle between 2 peaks of the mountains, and soon will shift over the edge, and it will be night here at probably around 3, maybe 4, or evening anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So what would you like to do?
I'll stand up as I see people approaching.
Is this
Where
all
are
of
we
us?
staying?
Yes, all of you except Kensei.
I don't know. We could go check with someone, I guess. I don't know.
I'm gonna start walking towards the admin building.
Alright.
Yeah, admin.
Hi, can we get some rooms, please? Oh,
Okay,
lovely.
yeah. I will say, for the sake of brevity, as you head in and make your case known about wanting somewhere to rest. We'll say that the secretary has already told the front desk about this situation. You are told where the rooms are, and you already know your way up to that part of the building. So heading through the wooden hallways, which again are very, very quiet, where there was busyness and lectures going on when you arrived, is virtually silent. Even the staff aren't really moving around, except for those that are essential to the current running of the building and the campus. Other than those, you head through and eventually arrive at the 2 doors that you were made note of for the rooms that you were gifted.
Just find the one that Ken stays in and go in there.
Alright, yeah, you knock on both the doors. One of them there is no answer. The other one, Kensei, you hear a knock at the door which kind of rouses you from your spontaneous slumber.
Mm.
Of course, he leaves. Just for about.
I guess Kensei is just not in.
He's clearing the blast radius. I'll go up, and after hearing that, I'll be like,
I mean, we just open the door. If we hear you grunt, I'll open the door.
Well, he's the. I mean, would you have locked the door beforehand? I guess is what I'm asking.
I think Kensei that probably would have slipped his mind. He's too exhausted.
All right, you just open the door, and Kensei's like there on the bed. I guess, unless he's got up at this point.
You good?
I will live.
You look like shit. Maybe we should get some rest.
I would love that.
How many beds are in each room?
There's 1 bed in each room. There is a sofa to sleep on as well.
Oh, okay. So some people are
That's it.
sleeping on the floor then.
Just 1 double bed. One
Bled.
double bed.
That's what Kensei's doing. Double bled.
Not bled.
Kensei has claimed the double bed.
My blood's all over it. You can't have it.
He's too swole for a single.
Who else is looking like shit? Who's taking a beating?
Guy looking like shit.
I think I'm closer to death than Kensei, to be honest.
Okay. Is it just you two?
Up as well, right?
Yeah.
Storms took like half health, right?
Yeah.
Half health?
I think he was
You're
half
mad.
health.
I took a lot more, but I healed.
I'm at about half.
I took a lot more than half.
I lost 7 hit points.
And it fell from my lightning bolt.
I only lost
In our
9.
defense,
I
we
lost
weren't
like
trying to
100.
You could have lost a lot more, though, couldn't you? Like, if we
Why
tried.
don't we all rest up then? We should talk tomorrow when everyone has their strength back.
Good idea.
I'm just gonna go plop on the sofa unless one of the more beat up people should take it. I'll just go slump against a wall.
Yeah, I'll do the same thing, but in the other room.
Alright, well, just to let you guys know, you woke up.
A few hours ago, about.
Yeah.
5 minutes.
You woke up. Where is it? I need to check my notations.
It was less than 12 hours ago, right?
It was well less than 12 hours ago. Yeah, you guys got up at I think around 11.
I mean, we could just skip to the end of the day and rest.
Okay, 9 p.m. 9 p.m. Yeah, so we can do that if there's nothing you want to do in that kind of like meantime, which is fine.
Yeah, we need to be like
The
fully
main
rested.
the main thing we should do when we're rested. So
Yeah. Don't want people being
Alright.
moody.
I
Very
mean,
So, in which case then, we can say that you can have a meal and have a rest if you so wish.
Yep.
I would imagine that it's probably a very long sleep anyway. You sleep for a very long time as you grab some food, head to your rooms, finding some place to sleep, whether it be the bed, the sofa, or on the floor, with your normal exterior gear. Sleep finds you all as you begin to drift. into an evening of much needed slumber.
This feels good to actually put everything up from 0.
So you can all have a long rest.
Get my 9 hit points back.
The most tapped I've ever been.
Get to 100 and think of my hit points back.
Eredhel.
Oh no.
dear.
Oh, no.
Fuck. For fuck's
We're not gonna
sake,
get to
man.
have therapy.
God,
Yeah,
I
I'll
can't
get
have
you.
5 minutes.
Y'all don't get nothing
No.
for free.
No, you can't. We're going secret.
Oh,
God.
Wah.
No,
okay.
no.
Hello.
Hello, are you not finished with me?
Whoever said that I was ever finished for you?
Oh god.
Finished for you? Finished with you?
Oh god.
It's never going to stop.
Oh god.
Okay. So basically, when they all go to sleep, you're going to try and kill one of them. Nah,
Oh my god.
I'm just gonna do a couple of motions,
Yeah.
and then just see what she.
Okay,
what
so
they
I'm
think is
gonna
happen.
go to the next room, and then I'm gonna
Yeah.
produce a dagger, and then I'm gonna stab
Mhm.
them in their sleep. Gonna
Yes.
draw across, and then just go crazy stabbing.
100%.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I might just do that in the future. Just pull people, you probably specifically for a private chat, and then just make them think like something bad's gonna happen. But that is not what's happening right now.
Okay.
So, as you fall asleep,
Mhm.
your mind wanders. The day has been distressing, to say the least.
Uh-huh.
And so, exhausted, mentally and physically, you drift into slumber. Darkness takes you, and the waking world is gone. Your eyes open, and you're not with your friend anymore. You're not on the mainland coast. You're stood atop one of the tallest peaks in Drakenlair. A quick inhale reveals that cold, freezing tundra air that you are used to. It smells like home. It feels like home. It hurts like home. But there's a beauty in it. Such memories that you've had here on the mountains. The time that you spent here alone, hunting. Your trial, which you succeeded in. But how much of that was... How much of that was to do with your upbringing? Your lineage here from the Isles? A thought crosses your mind. Did you really earn this? Or was it something else that really succeeded here? Are you really draconian? Or is it thanks to your psionic ancestry that you were even able to be mentally capable of surviving? These intrusive thoughts bite at you, and the wind suddenly feels colder. Painful. You've never felt this way before, not in the cold, not like this. You've survived on your own. But now it's like being thrust into a wasteland that you're unexperienced, unprepared for. Fear seeps in, and you feel that tickle, but it vanishes. Eddie, you hear?
Oh, shit.
Eri.
I'm gonna look around for the source of the voice.
You glance around, a blizzard has begun to spin up. Snow is flaring all around you in a whirlstorm of blinding white. And there, beyond it, a form. A large form. Humanoid. You make out its extremities, arms, legs, a broad chest. A familiar face. One that you've not seen for many years. Eri. The form takes a step forward, and now you can see it in its entirety. It is an image of your father, clad in thick wools and a long fur cloak. He brandishes a shield with a draconian flag upon it, the symbol glistening in the light as it flares through the snowstorm. As he takes that step, he stops and glares at you. A frown across his face. Eri, who are you? As he looks down towards you. Who are you? Just looks, seems to wait for a response.
Who am I? You know me. You know who I am. I'm your daughter. I'm Eredhel.
You can see a look of sadness across his face. Squeezes his eyes shut.
Did I get it wrong? What?
Who are you, Eri?
If this is about what's happened, you have to believe me. I didn't know. I didn't know what would happen.
You can see the form begins to turn to snow and blow into the storm. Who are you? You're alone again. But the voice echoes, distant, around you, like the storm itself is asking you, who are you? Who are you?
I'm gonna take... I mean, I'm assuming if I have my weapons on me in the dream. I'm gonna take out the sword, the one I got with the little crown on the nib. And I'm gonna pull out the blade and I'm gonna look at my reflection in it.
As you pull out the blade and look at your reflection, you don't see yourself. Instead, you see your mother staring back at you.
Shit. I'm gonna, like, drop the blade. Like, just from shock. And then I'm gonna peer over again, see if it's still there.
It is your face. snow crunches behind you.
You turn around and look.
There's nothing there.
She's gonna ball her fists and she's gonna like look around and see if there's anybody there. And when she sees that there is nobody there, what do you expect of me? I am trying my hardest.
Silence.
She's gonna kick her sword out of the way, and she's gonna like grab a bunch of snow and she's just gonna like throw it into the blizzard.
As you throw the snow into the blizzard, you hear the sword being pulled from the snow. You hear its cut in the air. Behind you,
I'm gonna turn around.
your father stands with the blade aloft. As he glares at it, he looks down towards you and meets your eye line. And places it out towards you.
I'm gonna step forward, and as I take it, please just tell me what you want from me.
Who are you? What are you? You can see that the eyes behind this figure seem soulless. They don't have the fire that your father did. But the likeness is unmistakable.
What's happened to you? You know who I am. Why do you keep saying that? You know who I am.
You are Belinda.
What? No. No, I'm Eredhel.
You are Belinda.
No, no, I'm Eredhel.
He once again seems to envelop in snow, but this time the snow kind of warps its way around you and you feel this painful biting cold across your skin. What do you do?
Oh my god. She's just gonna keep repeating, just like shouting out into the storm, like, I'm Eredhel! I'm Eredhel!
You burst awake in the middle of the room, shouting that last phrase, I am Eredhel, out loud, before you realise that you are sweating, and inside the room which you fell asleep in, you're no longer there.
Okay, let's go back.
Alright. So I was just saying, if I thought they were reading us as if our audio wasn't working. Alright. Alright, oh god, I haven't gone back yet. There we go.
There
Hello.
he is.
Hello. So, who's sleeping with Eredhel, like, in the room?
I did not leave the room where Kensuke was.
I don't think any of us wanted to.
Everyone wants to sleep with
I
Eredhel.
am
I-
too fluffed out.
I
don't know
think-
what's going on.
I think considering I was the last person who spoke to her and it wasn't a horrible conversation, then I
were
would
motorboated.
probably be the one. Yeah, she motorboated me, so...
That bonds people, okay?
I have no idea which room I'm in because I just stopped.
Alright.
Whatever
I
I
would
stayed
have
in
gone
the
into
room
the
where
other
Kensei
room
was.
outside of Kent's.
yeah, I was not.
Okay. So, those of you that are in the room, if it is just Gayak, you are rudely awakened in the middle of the night as Eredhel shouts out, "I am Eredhel," loudly, and she's like bolted up awake.
I know. No,
I know.
My
I just-
God.
I just kind of look at, like, sit up and look at her. Is she just staring, or are you fully
She's
aware?
awake now. She's awake. She's just like for the last maybe like 30 seconds. She's just been sat upright, going, "I'm Eredhel! I'm Eredhel!"
Eredhel? What happened?
It's a dream, a nightmare.
I'll kind of like stand off the bed and kind of go closer to her. I've had dreams before. You can tell me what happened.
It was my father again. I was home. And suddenly I started thinking, do I really... Did I really get here on my own merits?
As in from Drakenloft, or?
Anywhere. Have I really survived this long because it's me?
You know, no one makes it anywhere alone, Eredhel. We would all be dead if we weren't together. There's no shame in accepting that you wouldn't be where you were without others. But you're the driving force behind your decisions and where you are. You're alive because you're strong.
See, that's just the thing, Gayak. I don't know if I am. I don't know if I am the driving force.
Maybe that wasn't the best way to put it.
He just kept looking at me and saying, "Who are you? Who are you?"
Have you had dreams like this before?
Not exactly like this. I don't know how I'm supposed to move forward from this, Gayak. I don't know how I'm supposed to get up tomorrow morning and just face everyone like I didn't try to kill them mere hours ago.
You know, we know that it wasn't you. We do understand that.
Do you? Truly?
Look, obviously there's the fear in all of us that you could turn at any minute, but we know that it wasn't you. The things that you said wasn't you. I hope.
No. You're not boring, if that's what you're worried about. That's one thing that I do remember.
How much do you remember of it?
Just flashes, moments, glimpses of things. It's almost like the best way I can describe it is treading water, and sometimes you go under and sometimes your head pops out of the surface again.
I think we all need to have a conversation again, although I don't think it would do much good.
I think it would do some good.
We've tried it before and it didn't help.
That's because it came from Arya, who was consistently lying to us the entire time.
That is a very, very valid point, yes. But whoever it comes from, we've all lied to each other.
For different reasons, but yes.
Maybe third time's the charm.
I'd hope so. I have some things that I'd like to say to everyone, and they're not all pleasant.
As do I.
I'm glad that you have something to say.
Yes. Well, I won't get too far into it now, but I apologize in advance.
I don't think I'm ever going to stop saying sorry for the way that I am.
Not your fault. And for the record, I do care about you, Eredhel. We all have our differences, and you infuriate me to no end.
I should hope so.
I do care about you.
Thank you. Thank you, Gaiak.
I don't think I'm going to be able to get much more sleep, to be honest.
What time is it at the moment?
It is dark outside, you can tell that.
Okay.
Probably in the middle of the night.
So the moon's out?
The moon would be out.
Actually, is it the moon? No, it's just the night sky. Strange question. Do you have anything you want to know the answer to? The outcome?
Well, yes, of course. Plenty of things.
Well, there are some limits. Doesn't have to be anything serious, so...
What are you talking about?
The cloak, I can ask the outcome of any event within the next 30 minutes.
The next 30 minutes?
Yes, it's a bit of a limit, but...
I suppose we could ask if we're safe for the next 30 minutes. And pray that it doesn't change an hour later.
I'll walk over to the window, open it up, if it opens. I also don't know why I opened it like it was probably lift. Look at the night sky and I will ask if Ferra Carta are safe for the next 30... well, if Ferra Carta are safe.
Okay. So you use it to kind of channel that energy. Just checking where this appears. Where it is when you can see the night sky. Okay.
Need to check what each of the things mean. Okay.
Your question is, are Ferra Carta safe?
Yeah.
For the next.
Yeah. And as...
Ferra Carta.
Oh.
Okay.
Well, no way, I don't like the way
Take your time, dude. You've worded
I
it.
don't know, I don't like the way he's just said that. That means someone's not safe.
But there is someone who's not
So
safe.
Ferra Carta's safe,
cast the
but
spell.
you didn't mention Derek.
I mean, a couple of us are not safe.
Right, but this means specifically the next half an hour. You cast a spell. You see, two streaks cross the sky.
What does that mean? Gaiak, what does that mean?
It means it's undetermined, good or bad.
Well, great. That was very helpful. How much did you pay for that?
That's a lot.
That's not what it means.
Is it not what it means?
No.
2 shooting stars. Oh, no, yeah, I misread that. Sorry. Let me rephrase that. It means good and bad. So, we are, but we aren't.
That makes sense.
Or some of us are.
I'm just gonna go and check on everyone else.
So I think that's a good idea.
I'm gonna do it quietly, so I don't want to like wake anyone up or disturb anyone. I'm just gonna sneak in and like open the door, check if everybody's sleeping and okay, if anybody's stirring or anything.
I'll go with Eredhel, just in case.
I better be quiet, Gaiak.
I'll try.
You have to beat a 19, motherfucker. You're
17.
still gonna beat it. I mean, I am asleep though, so.
With his giant Iron Man suit, just like, don't
With
worry,
every
I'm
step,
really
it's just like.
quiet.
Do I wake up?
Down the hallway.
My passive is 19, so.
Yeah, I mean, you'd probably be alerted to that aria.
My passive. Oh, my passive is
See
50.
Gaiak and Eredhel's head peek round the door.
Yeah, you can.
I'll
you
just
can
crack
peek round if
one
you want.
eye open. I won't do anything, I'll just crack an eye open to acknowledge that they're there. If they don't do anything, I'll just close it and go back to sleep.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see if anybody's like stirring or like looks restless or in
Everyone
trouble.
looks perfectly fine.
Okay.
No one like
Sleep.
tossing in their sleep at all.
Nope.
Tossing off.
I mean,
Yeah, no one.
I mean,
Oh,
Aria's
Everyone having a
asleep on the
quick
ceiling. Aria's
quick
asleep on the
notch.
ceiling.
Just crawling backwards.
Wouldn't be surprised. Wouldn't be
I'm
surprised.
I'm gonna send something your way if you're not careful.
Okay, let's go back to sleep. Let's go back to sleep. It's fine. It's fine.
All right, you head
Such
back to your room
masochist, honestly.
and finish your rest. Morning comes as daylight peeks through the curtains of each of your rooms, rousing you from your slumber. You're feeling very, very well rested this morning after a very exhaustive day, again, physically and mentally and emotionally to some of you. So, along... I don't know if you could hear some guy singing as he walked past my window.
Yeah, I can hear that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
thought that was outside mine. I was like,
No, it was there.
Oh, the student. Oh no, we're in the
Tiny
fireplace. aren't we?
voice.
So, as you wake up, you feel refreshed, though you know that a conversation must be had today, and as you rouse and prepare yourselves, looks between you, clearly, welcome back. So, where we left off, each of you had gone off and done some private things. That makes it sound dirtier than it is. You've gone off and done your individual tasks before meeting back up and finding some rest for the evening. As you rested, Eredhel had a dream and was a little spooked by it.
Yep.
But Gaiak and her were able to rest once again, and now you all awake in the 2 rooms that you were given, most of you in 1, avoiding Eredhel for some reason. But all the same,
wonder why.
the sun wakens you as morning is here. It's chilly, but the morning is yours. What would you like to do?
Good morning.
Suppose we should find somewhere to talk.
Is everyone here awake, alive?
I just look around the room. Is everyone breathing? We're all good. No one died.
Yeah,
in the night?
after last night, I'm definitely going to be seeing if anyone looks a little bit fucked.
Kensei, who is on the bed, obviously you can't see his face, is just still for a moment, and you see him breathe as he begins to wake up.
Character death.
In bed. Oh.
Look, it happens, alright? Like, it's not all about dying in battle, guys. Sometimes
Oh my god.
Oh, poor Kensei.
Sometimes the bed's a
I
mimic.
have that power,
Yeah.
remember that.
Sometimes you die in battle, sometimes your bed's a mimic.
It's a minute.
So, I suppose we should talk.
Suppose so. Does anyone have anything they'd like to get off their chest?
I asked the dean to come down here at some point when he's not busy to talk with us. I think it might be good to run through all the staff. Whoever isn't present at the moment was likely the people being impersonated by the Earthling.
I think we should set aside the current situation for now. We have other things to talk about. That's not to say that that isn't important.
Such as?
I'm gonna kind of look at Gaiak and Aria, then at Zuko. Well, I think that we should talk about what happened yesterday.
And what's been happening?
Yes, it's not just yesterday.
What do you mean?
Well, it's been going on for weeks, months. We've had 2 conversations where we were supposed to be honest with each other, but we still can't see eye to eye on barely anything. So, does anyone have anything they'd like to get off their chest?
Keen to start?
Me?
Would you
Kayak.
like to?
Well, I kind of, I'm assuming we're Guardians of the Galaxy style bunch of jackasses standing in a circle. I step forward. I know how you all see me. Stupid, gullible Gaiak. Doesn't bite back. Won't argue. But you have all slowly been suffocating that version of myself. Maybe for better. But I had this stupid dream of us being a family. I've said it before. And, well, when my mother died, sorry, I get a bit deep here. When my mother died, Kikis told me that family isn't just blood. My mother wasn't originally Anakria, but they accepted her like one of their own. And that when they were all gone, I would still have family. And that eventuality came sooner than I expected, and I found family elsewhere. But I lost that one too. And when I found you all, I clung to that hope of being a family. But I just want to make it very clear that that dream, I gave up on it a while ago. Because those are the closest to you, are the ones that will hurt you the most. And I do still forgive you all. But because it's easier to forgive when you don't have stakes in the relationship. When you can't be hurt. And he just kind of like looks to the ground and stands there for a moment in kind of like the silence, and then steps back into the circle.
Anything they'd like to say to that? for one, I've never thought you were stupid, Kayak. You're brilliant. Don't sell yourself short.
I know what I'm capable of. But, like I said, I know how you all see me.
Where is that coming from? Do you mean... Why do you think we perceive you so?
Maybe I hold back. I don't speak my mind a lot. Perhaps I should. I know that I'm at fault. I know that, we all keep things from each other.
Your silence is never seen as stupidity. Silence is actually, well, part of you being a listener, an observer. So, very...
I'm done observing. Like I said, that version of me has been slowly suffocated. Anyone else?
I'm afraid I have quite a lot to say. This might take some time.
Say what you need.
Well, honestly, I don't even know where to begin. I'm appalled at our behavior in the labs. I'm genuinely in shock at the arguments that were raised while we were down there, even more in shock that all of you could then turn around and demand of me the information that you were so adamant that we didn't need. It is hypocrisy at the highest level. I understand that it is difficult for you to listen to me, especially after what happened to me and what the tadpole said to each of you. But you have to believe me when I tell you I was not under any semblance of control when it happened, and I would never wish to inflict pain or cruelty on you of my own volition. These circumstances are out of my control, and I hope in time I am able to get them back under wraps. However, that being said, I am not the person at fault here. Perhaps the one residing in the same body is, but not I. Neither am I at fault for what I said to Kensei, or any of you for that matter. You discredited the option of taking the information and refused to see the facts. The research is formed by a race that are already connected through psionic abilities. Their communication spans across entire planes. If they wanted others outside the facility to know, they already would. It seemed ridiculous to me that we were planning to release people before we knew that they could be illithids themselves. All I wanted was to be sure. But I was accused of being unfeeling, gung-ho. It was never my mind to simply leave them behind. I believe we should save as many people as we can, of course, but we knew before we entered that facility, and we agreed that we had to make sacrifices. People are going to die. People are going to suffer. It happens every day. If we can prevent it, then of course we should. But we cannot sacrifice the entire coast for the sake of 5. Had they been illithids and woken up, all of us would certainly have died. And I would not be standing in front of you, but probably an illithid myself. All this absurdity because I wanted to be sure before we ran into danger once again. And I don't pretend to not know what you're all thinking. You do not respect my opinion any more than you respect someone like Sindri, even though half the fucking time I am the only one who is consistent or not motivated by spite or some ridiculous notion of trying to regain my honor. The entire time I have needed to, and I have been aware of my own actions, I have tried to act for the betterment of everyone. My words might not always match my motivations, but I can track back every key decision that I have made, and it has always been for the good of everyone. So yes, I am angry. I am angry that even though for the last 3 months I have been motivated by altruism, that we could act so senselessly. Did you really think that I would be here if I did not care? I could be at home, Queen of the Isles right now, I could be being weighted on hand and foot, but I choose to stay, not only because my kingdom is in danger, but for all of you. But all you see is a spoiled princess who has no real evidence that she lives in the real world. You believe me to be someone who is selfish, callous, and unaware of the feelings of others, when I always take my own feelings out of the equation. Do you know what it feels like to harness psionic abilities? Do you know what my mother put me through for 10 years? I am 19 in body alone. In my mind, I feel I am closer to 30 with the amount of time I have spent in my own mind. But you would not have the faintest idea of the things my mind has enforced upon me.
Thank you for being so candid. If it helps, I apologize.
It does help. It helps a lot. It pains me that you reserve pity for people like Aria with her ignorant and ashamed parents, or Alistair with the pressure of becoming head of the church, but you do not reserve that same kindness for me simply because I am content to accept my lot in life. Had things had played out as they should, I would have spent the rest of my years protecting people who hated me. I want to be honest with each of you. I am quite simply terrified. I feel that I am attacked from the outside and from the inside. There is no safe haven for me to go. All I can do is pretend I do not care, to spare the pity and shame of others. Who could respect a pitiful queen?
Try a compassionate queen. That's what you say has motivated you, which I believe. Try leading with that.
It is difficult to act compassionately when, for most of my education, from both my mother and father, compassion has been taken as a sign of weakness. Perhaps not empathy, but when you are the ruler of a nation, you must act with justice first and foremost. I wish to be honest with each and every one of you. Gaiak I have already spoken to. I want to apologize on behalf of... Well, it's not like they would apologize anyway, but I'm sorry for the actions that my body took against you. Aria, I'm disappointed in you. You acted out of spite in a grave situation. If you wish to live your life freely and full of chaos, you are free to do so, but not when we are on the verge of a hostile invasion. Zuko, Storm, I understand that both of you know the consequences of misinformation and the effects of war. Surely these things should have helped you to see that we need information. Without the information that we now have, we would have been clueless as to our next move. And Kensei, if you had ever spoken to me like that when I was royalty, I would have had your tongue cut out. But I appreciate you chastising me. All of you are my friends, and you have advised me well, and you have helped me to see the error of my ways. In everything, I have to act as my father would have me do. I have to act as if one day I will be the ruler of a nation. That is all.
I would just like to say what happened. Sorry, I got something in my throat.
This is a bit of beetle shell.
Yes, I crushed a few up this morning. I think they were way past their use-by date. Sorry, excuse me. I would just like to say that what happened in the laboratory, the argument that we had, I don't think that the subject of the argument is important. It's the way we reacted to each other and treated each other. It's perfectly reasonable to argue your point and have differing views, but it's beyond childish to act the way we did. And it happens every time we have a disagreement. We had to come to a conclusion, and it wasn't helped by the fact that we were close to attacking each other. And that has also happened before.
I believe that we should feel empathy for those who are suffering. It is a good thing. It is a skill that not everyone acquires. It is a good thing that we feel empathy for those people who are in pain, but we cannot allow our personal feelings to interfere with what has to be done. We are, as it stands, the only people posing a true threat to the Illithid.
And it has been proven that by being divided, they have an advantage. If we had cut out the argument and dealt with that more quickly, maybe we wouldn't have been attacked. 2 of us almost died. And it could have been worse.
No one else wants to say anything else.
I mean, I was gonna look around to see if someone was about to speak.
You go first.
Do you have something to say to what he just said, or?
You can wait. It's fine.
I'm on the topic of apologizing. Of course, I have to apologize myself. I've made some very, very stupid decisions. I know. And I feel that they are probably the main cause for the rift in the group right now. And I am sorry. I'm sorry for that. But in defense of myself, what am I supposed to do about this? Realistically, what am I supposed to do about the situation that I'm in?
Start by handing back the book.
You want it? Take it. I'll take it out and slam it on the floor or table, wherever's near. There you go.
Some honesty, I think, is...
What would you like to know? Ask me anything. What would you like to know?
What exactly is your situation?
I was in the abyss with no chance of surviving. I mean, I could look after myself, but I don't know where there's food that I can eat, where there's water I can drink. I don't know. I had no magic. I was trapped there with no hope of escape. So yes, when someone offered me a means to get back to my life, I took it. I took it. Gladly.
What was the deal?
Me, as someone who can step into this realm, in return, he gives me powers. Magic.
And
They. I don't know their gender, actually.
who are they?
They never told me their name. I'm not...
They look like.
We're not friends.
No.
I am a servant in their eyes.
But what do they want?
I don't know, and that is the truth. I do not know.
Have they ever requested anything of you?
Other than stealing the book? No.
I see.
Have you...
Your
No, please.
your agreement is not too similar to the one I had made, so...
I envy that you have a good relationship with your patron, Zuko. Because I do not want to try and find out what happens if I disobey mine.
Well, at best, you'd probably lose your abilities.
At best.
At best.
At worst.
You said it was from the Abyss.
Yes.
Surely, if he can't step into this plane, then he cannot hurt you.
You can communicate with me. Magic is new to me. I don't know how this shit works.
You might have
and
other
that
servants.
scares me.
I think our experience with the Illithid network probably proves that might not be the case. There are ways
Psionics
to
and magic
people
are
from a
different anyway.
distance. Why not ways across planes?
I don't think there's something that you need to do. I just think going forward, no more stealing from the group. It's probably a
Well,
good
you
start.
have the book. Someone can take it. I was just making the most of a bad situation. Because I don't know what I'm supposed to do about this, so...
If you thought it was a good idea, then discussion before action, maybe. It is to my understanding that there was a promise between you and Alistair. Is that right?
Did we make a promise? I can't remember that.
He mentioned that you had
Yeah,
betrayed
both of
him.
Yeah, both of you mentioned to him that you would not steal the book.
Oh, yes, yeah. Well,
I'm happy to put this in the lamp for now, if everyone is okay with that.
do what you want with it.
I won't do
it's
it.
for the best.
I won't do it right this moment, but I'll do it.
Aria,
Apologies.
I have some words for you, but not in front of everyone else. It can be handled between the two of us.
Before we split up, I would also like to apologize if I've been out of line. That was never ever my intention. The circumstances on which I joined this group have drastically changed. Shit got real, I suppose.
Indeed it did.
But I wouldn't change my decision. I believe I'm here for a reason, and we are all here.
Friends or not.
I don't think that anyone else could have gone down there and come out of it as we have. There's not another group in Val-Aeria like us who has the knowledge that we have, the variety of experiences and skills. We don't have to get along, but I do think we can.
Something that Gaiak said struck a chord with me. Something that I do have faint memories of. Do you remember what the tadpole first said to you?
To me?
Just to everybody in the group?
Yes.
As in,
I remember.
when we fought?
Yes.
Yes.
Due to the nature of the way that I was born, my desires and the tadpole's up's desires are intertwined. Perhaps theirs is a little more otherworldly and warped, but that desire for companionship and family and a place to call home, that is something that we share.
And me as well. Eredhel, I don't harbor any ill will against you for anything that you said whilst you were under its control, or due to our disagreements on how we should handle the situation. And I think we all share that sentiment. I don't believe there is any ill will between us. Sure, we have some disagreements, but I'm sorry to sound a little cheesy, but what family doesn't? I know you said you don't see that anymore, Gaiak, but we just gotta We just gotta keep together. I don't see that reality as being impossible. It's tough. Go, please, sorry.
No, I just wanted to mention that we've had conversations like this in the past. I'm just preparing myself for the high possibility that it doesn't do anything, that we just revert back to how we were, how we are.
Well, let's make this one count then.
We have to look at what the root of the problem is, because we have conversations like this and say that we aim to do better, but what is it that actually is the problem?
Well, we've spoke about the fact that we keep secrets from each other, and that didn't solve anything. I believe it is the way we talk to each other. We treat each other. Like I said in the argument that we had, that didn't have to be an argument. It could have been a discussion. We had to come to a conclusion. And we turned to a screaming match. And if those Erethids hadn't have shown up, I believe it would have turned to violence, as it has before.
That hadn't crossed my mind. I would like to think it wouldn't go that far.
It's happened before.
Can I ask why? Because it seemed to me that it was either... Yes. Oh, thank you. Food delivery.
The tadpole giving you a little
Breakfast!
snack.
You guys hear a knock at the door.
Oh,
It's
nice.
Room service!
Holy shit.
Damn, the good snacks.
That is the good stuff. Anyway, what was I saying? What was I saying? Oh yeah, why were you fuckers arguing with me?
May I?
Yes, also me too.
Okay, let's... Aria, go.
I actually was going to agree with you. I was in agreement with you, Eredhel. And yes, I know I acted out of spite, which is childish, and I shouldn't have done that. I do not appreciate the attempt at trying to manipulate me.
I know.
I really do not appreciate that.
I know, and I shouldn't have said it. And for that, I'm sorry. I should not have said it. I do not understand your predicament fully, and... Well, this is something for us to have a conversation about.
I agree.
I think me and Storm are on a similar wavelength of It felt like we were going for the safer of two options.
Yes.
To me.
If we'd have known for certainty, which we know you didn't know for certainty either what it did.
It felt like I would rather play it safe, that was all.
I do not know for certain a lot of things, but you have to trust that my psionic abilities grant me some information in this. And
Of course.
it seemed obvious to me, and it was frustrating, and it felt that I was making sense, and people refused to see that I was making sense because it was me saying it.
I just did not share the same intuition, I guess. But I agree. Your ability, you were clearly intrinsically linked to this somehow. And going forward, I will trust that.
Had we not used psionic abilities to enter Kensei's and then my own mind, we wouldn't have even known the facility was here.
That is right.
We passed my discretion against psionic abilities. I have told you already.
I
the
understand
merit.
why.
Just to mention one other thing. You said that we had agreed to make sacrifices, and I don't recall ever agreeing to let innocents die when it was possible.
I did not wish for innocents to die, Zuko.
I know, but I just want to make it clear now that I will never willfully sacrifice the life of an innocent. If there is even a 1% chance we can save them. It's not in my blood.
I'm afraid that is where you and I must be different then. I believe that in order to save the coast, to save our livelihoods, that there probably will be people who die, and we cannot save all of them. If we can, then of course we should.
Yes, and I understand that point, and I do agree there will be times when we simply cannot. But in this situation, it felt like we could.
We had a choice, yes.
But I agree. The takeaway from this is that going forward, I will trust you on these matters.
We all will.
You have no idea the amount of comfort that brings me.
And
it means a
yes.
lot to me that you respect me.
I do.
I harbour a lot of strange feelings towards all of you. And I'm not sure if they're my own or the effect of my condition. But the same reasons that I'd love you all for, I resent you all.
I can see how that would get a little confusing.
Yes.
I know it seems really silly, but I did mention a few times that we should vote on it. I'm not sure if we quite got there before a fight had broken out, but in future that might be a very simple solution if we just cast a vote. If we're really that torn on something, it might be an easy way to solve it. Cast a vote. And then go on with its outcome.
In the eventuality that the arguments do happen, which they inevitably will, maybe we just make a point of putting time aside to have a conversation about it, rather than harboring hard feelings, because this has been building up for a long time.
Talking never hurt anyone.
Is that a laugh track?
That was a laugh track.
Yeah. I thought I heard that as well.
Kayak!
Oh,
What
sorry.
the hell?
Talking never hurt anyone.
I told you I have spells and I don't know. I do.
Tasha's hideous laughter.
Kensei,
Bitch.
Kensei, you had something you wanted to say?
You have been quiet.
Bloody hell. That was a hell of a time for that to kick in. Christ.
Kensei just draws his sword.
I am actually a vampire. Ha 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 ha.
Don't say that, we already think you're hot.
Oh,
I don't think I have much to contribute, honestly, thinking about that.
You might think me petty, Kensei, but I would appreciate an apology.
Let me ask you something then. I know this may risk throwing fuel on the fire, so to speak, but I feel it needs to be said. You said people would die in order to see this done, and I have accepted that. Being in the caverns in Emberforge, the fight down there, the battle, and underneath the university, I hear them again. I hear the drums of war. I want to ask you, I would like a serious answer. Yes or no? You said people are willing to, we would have to let people die in order for this to be done. Are you willing to be the one doing the dying?
Yes. The short answer is yes.
Insight check.
May go ahead and roll something.
More pussy.
21.
ooh.
She is not lying.
Mm.
You can see that this is something that she's thought about before, and she is being 100% honest.
And would you give up your chance of being queen?
I already have, in a way.
I don't think it's worth asking if you would give up your psionic abilities. You've shown great distaste for them. I think, if anything, if you had a chance to get rid of them, you might see it as a blessing.
I would like to find a way to reconcile myself and the tadpole. It cannot be removed, it is meshed into my own mind. To remove it would kill me, most likely. But if we can find another way where I can be of use without attempting to kill you all, then I would like that. I have said to Storm before that if it comes to it, he knows what he must do.
And you must know that, if we're being honest, I silently, that in those moments in that laboratory, when everybody was inches away from death, paralyzed, I looked into your eyes, or your controller's eyes, and I made peace with that. Told you I'm sorry. I don't know if you heard me.
I'm afraid I didn't. But I thank you for it anyway.
I would have hoped someone would have done the same for me many moons ago. I would have liked to sting like Storm.
This perhaps brings us to our next move. I think that I would like to see the patients that were removed from the facility. If they have had tadpoles put into their brains, then it is only a matter of time.
Yes.
Yes. Storm, you took the bodies away along with to the research department. Did you discover anything?
I think we was
Not
a little
much.
hasty on our visit.
Yes, we went.
They told you nothing?
They told us the lacerations seem to have denoted that organs may or may not have been removed and rearranged.
That does not bode well.
No.
Anything else?
They did mention specifically that perhaps parts of brain had been removed. So I think it is probably wise that we are quite thorough in our checking.
This brings me to my next question. If they do have tadpoles in them, what do we do with them?
Is there any saving them?
I have no idea. I have no idea if it can even be attempted. If it can, and the tadpole is alive, there is a risk that if it comes out, it simply finds another body to inhabit.
So it's incurable.
As far as I know. Perhaps there is... There are people who know about psionics. We could ask
If
those
I may.
people who approached me and David.
You could do. If I may as well. Wouldn't these people simply become like you and them?
No. So
You have a tadpole in your brain that simply has given you abilities and access to the hive mind.
I'm afraid this is where I must confess a rather sordid past. Usually, tadpoles are not born with a host. but my lineage is as such that there are those who are born in a maternal line that are born with a tadpole. My mother wasn't very specific, but something about the way that a girl's brain works, I don't know. Psionic abilities do not come naturally to anyone unless in a very specific circumstance where they have 2 elven parents and the mother is a psionic herself. And even then it is dangerous. In my case, being half human, the tadpole was dormant for a long time. And longer than it should have been, in my mother's opinion. Usually, a tadpole wakes up on its own once it has found a host. That host will then begin to transform into what we know is an illithid. That is what I'm assuming Aria told you the process of reproduction is. Illithid tadpoles find themselves in the brain of a humanoid and then transform them.
Is that what this? What was the term you used? It's in the notes. It was
Ceramorphosis.
That was it.
Transformation.
So, in worst case scenario, there are 12 ticking time bombs up there.
Yes. And the only reason why my mother presumed that I would be safe is because she thought that I had a handle on it. Being trained psionically is not a pleasant experience. One is trapped in one's own mind for seemingly could be weeks, months, years. And you have no real knowledge of the time that is passing outside. You see haunting images. You are brought to the brink of death, the breaking point of your mind. And then when you have nothing left, out of desperation, the tadpole's survival instincts kick in and protect you. Or protect its host, rather.
I see. So the situation is indeed quite different.
Yes. Tadpoles usually do not have minds of their own, necessarily. They act on primal desires to feed, to survive, to transform.
Do you have any idea how long that process usually takes?
I imagine it can be anywhere from hours to weeks. And it must be quite painful too.
Oh. Well, maybe one of them is conscious this morning. They was not when we checked. Do we have any ability to know for sure if there is a tadpole inside?
I could try is psychic whispers. I have to be able to... Well, in short, if there is 2 minds inhabiting one body, then I might be able to tell, but I don't know because I've never tried it before.
We have some test subjects, if you'd like to try and reach out to a tadpole.
I could try, however, I would appreciate it if we were all on our guard, as I have no idea what they're doing right now.
Is everyone else in agreement with this idea?
What was the other information, sorry, that we got from the store? I completely forgot. I know that they mentioned about like using humans for reproduction, but there were any
And
specific
food,
plans?
right?
Yes.
Yeah,
food.
but were there any specific plans or locations mentioned? I know they mentioned
Yes.
replacing key government
Yes.
officials.
No. So, just to be clear, the information that was given from the uplink was about the use for human beings. They plan not to wipe out civilizations, but to use them as food and means of reproduction, essentially like cattle. Apparently, we taste delicious.
I'll bet.
They
I might
also
have to try.
they also view our ability for feeling as a weakness, to be able to protect one another, and they will use this against us. They've set out an advised course of action to test our defenses, but I have no idea where this might be or how they might attack us, and to further infiltrate the upper level society through government officials and military and things like that. They also have an encampment on their radar called Razak-San, and it sounds to me like that is a Galeskin territory. It is outside of Daphid, so it seems a likely option.
We could ask Rai or Vargas if they've come across anything.
I believe that after we have seen to the patient, that going to this encampment might be the best course of action. That seems to be...
It's our lead, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
They also, and this is something that we also need to be aware of and tell Theodore and Cecilia, they are planning to take advantage of the fact that the king are divided.
We kind of assumed that, didn't we?
Yes.
We were doing our best.
Yes.
If I may,
Storm,
it
I'm
may
sure
have-
you're aware. Oh, sorry, Ken.
It's just combining the two bits of information there. It's likely any government officials who are against this alliance may be ones who are being manipulated by the Illithid or the infiltrators, if you will.
It's not impossible.
So, if when you message Cecilia and Theodore, it might be best if we advise them to also be on the lookout for any members of their staff, their government, who are actively undermining or vocally opposing the alliance.
This... I didn't want to have to bring this up, but I'm afraid that with your discussion of alliances and such, I think that this might be an option, albeit one that especially Storm and the rest of us at that matter will look sourly upon. They really want to avoid the elves' involvement.
Any
think
reasons
that-
specifically?
The elves have magic, we do not. Our defenses are weak compared to the Illithid's attacks, and the elves are strong.
It may be why they're starting with the coast, because it's an easier target.
Yes.
And they can build up an enormous army of
Yes.
Yes.
using us as, well, using the citizens as, oh gosh. This is all very...
I think it's a fantastic idea to get them involved. I know people's feelings are mixed on the Golden Empire, but I think we'd be stupid not to get as much firepower as we can.
There is something about protecting Algornthorn as well. This is something about central hub networks, a scent set post-gorging. I have no idea what that means.
Post-gorging.
Yes.
Doesn't sound very nice.
I'm assuming that it means gorging on brain matter.
I think I'm going to vomit.
On the matter of the Golden Empire, it's not my decision. The decision of the rulers of this coast. It's not my
I think
home.
it should be broached by Cecilia and Theodoria.
I will
believe-
take no part in what happens afterwards.
I believe that something that we should do is perhaps contact Sindri and see if there is anyone in the Golden Empire who can tell us more,
They
knows
might
how
have an
to
expert.
defend against illithids. We know how to attack illithids, but defensive-wise and how to protect myself, becoming one of them, to protect those with weaker defenses from becoming paralyzed or perhaps even turning to their side.
The elves have been around a lot longer as well, right?
Yes.
So perhaps they have even faced a similar threat a long time ago.
Perhaps. It might be worth asking Sindri.
I don't think I've met a Sindri. Maybe I have. Yes. He was the very hoity-toity one that
Yes.
we arrived at his tower.
The
and it was a bit
arsehole.
like- yes.
Well, in all fairness, we did break into his homes.
Ah, well.
Mm.
I'm not surprised. It's perfect shenanigans.
So, what we should do is check on the patient, see if they had tadpoles. If they do, then what?
If there is nothing to be done, then they will have to go.
That
There's
our
no way to
doing?
is there no way to contain them? It's not, is there?
Even if we could contain them, if they do become illithid,
Wouldn't it
the
be
normal
cruel
It
to
wouldn't
keep
be
them
impossible.
alive?
Hmm?
Wouldn't it be cruel to keep them alive as well if they are
No,
undergoing this
yeah.
transformation?
I was going to
we've
argue
been
the same
condemning them
point.
to a painful transformation. in which
Yes.
after which they would not be the people they were.
We have to explain to the doctors. We cannot simply go in there and expect them to euthanize their patient.
The doctor was very I don't know how to say it.
Stalwart.
Yes. Yes. He was adamant about their care.
Well, even a doctor knows that in some cases there is nothing to be done, and the kinder thing is to let the life go. But if we can remove the tadpole, then I believe we should try.
I'm going to assume it's not as easy as just cutting it open and oh, there's a tadpole.
Well, I'm assuming that it would be like any other surgery.
Well, if it has,
If there's a foreign body in there,
but it's
perhaps
awake,
it might be-
right? It's living. It's not
Yes.
I
just
think
a...
what she's
true,
trying to
that's
say,
true.
Zuko, is that no one's ever tried, so we
That's
don't
true.
know.
No.
And if it's awake, it might leap on the doctor.
Well, we'll be there ready to kill it.
Perhaps.
Maybe.
And I'm throwing out theories here because I do not know. Perhaps the only thing that is keeping patients from transforming is the fact that they are unconscious.
Oh, well. I suppose we better... If we all feel like we're on the same page once again.
Actually, I should probably ask, did we hear back from any of the people we contacted?
Yes,
Stelbor, Mayfly. Oh, we did?
my father contacted me whilst I was in a bit of a sticky situation. Told him to call me back.
Was this during the fight?
Yes,
He called you in the middle of a fight with an illithid?
yes.
What timing?
That timing is awful.
Yes, I'm very concerned. It sounded like I was having sex with someone.
Well, you do have a thing for illithids.
Is that L
Not,
or F?
not the... Wait, is that in character or not?
No.
Does-
I was gonna say.
the answer to that is yes.
Just one more thing before we go. Storm,
Yes.
do you have a spell book or a book that you write notes in?
Yes.
Do you have a pen or quill or whatever?
I do indeed. Yes.
I will find a blank page in it, and I will draw the symbol that I learned from the tome inside it, and I show it to the group,
Right.
and I say, if you want answers about my situation, that's how.
And now Storm's book is cursed.
What is that?
It's a teleportation sigil.
Oh my. Just
Yes.
where?
What do you think?
No, I don't know. Seriously, well, I where?
Back to the
The
abyss.
abyss.
Back to the abyss.
God.
Well, that's
That's one thing
Doesn't-
I'm not doing. I'm not going
But
back.
is just putting it there, so you have it.
I'm not sure if anyone's ever mentioned to me about the abyss timey-wimey stuff in character. I don't think you have you?
No.
In detail, I've mentioned that I have a demon patron
I
many
mean,
times.
Storm
but-
might have mentioned his age.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think Suko knows about it. Well, perhaps that's put a pin in it, and that's
You don't have to go at all. Just putting it there to, get this whole honesty thing going.
Hmm.
That's
I
the only
So-
thing that I learned from the book, by the way.
So
Was
we
that symbol.
try to help the patients. If they do have tadpoles in them, if not, then they can recover and it'll fine. But if they do, then we try to convince the doctor to help them. But if they refuse, then we have to.
insist.
Yes. After that, I think that we should send word to Theodore and Cecilia. Perhaps just one if it's easier. Well, that rhymed.
I know it may take up a lot of message time, but I think it might be also worth messaging Aurilla. If she has time to quickly
Yes.
teleport over here, maybe examine the body and then go about her business.
I could give her the tadpoles, get them off of our hands.
Perhaps. We should contact one of the royals and let them know that the Illithids do have plans to take advantage of the divide between the continents. That they do not wish to have the elves involved. That perhaps might sway them a little bit. And we should also contact Sindri and ask him if there is anybody that he knows that might have information from the Empire if they have, as Zuko said, gone through something similar. We could also, on our way to Razak-san, because I'm assuming that's where we're going next, stop by just outside of Daphid to where Sisters of Ogma. Is that right?
I think we should make that a priority.
That is the name, yeah.
Or at
Or the
least
Eye
it should
of
be
Ogma.
high on our list of things
So we
to
should
do.
go to them, see if they can help with my situation. And then we move on to Razak-san and see what is there.
That sounds like a
Reasonable plan.
yes.
Yes.
Is everyone happy with that?
Sounds good.
I believe so.
Good. Stand up off the floor or wherever we've been. Shall we
Slap
then?
the thigh. Well,
Time to be heading out.
Right.
Time to be hitting the old dusty trail.
Shall we go and check on the patients?
Yes, I think that would be a good idea. I'm gonna head out and go find the patients.
alright, with your discussion concluded, you begin to walk through the admin building, still quiet, down through into the foyer and out into the cold air. It's not a blizzard anymore. Every so often you see a few specks of snow, but mostly it's a fairly calm weather today. As you, actually, you don't go outside, do you? Because you're going to the medical ward. So forget that. You see that through the windows. Heading to the foyer and then back round towards the medical ward. Zuko and Storm able to lead the way there. You head up the staircase to the white doors and into the medical ward proper. You can hear staff and students as well moving around, going about their duties. Though it is quieter than it was yesterday. This isn't a hospital, and most of the rooms here aren't real patients. So it's very quiet, as you can imagine. Classes have been suspended. The few individuals that you see are either older students, some of the later years, verging on graduating, or lecturers who have medical degrees themselves. And you're heading straight for the patient's room.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Storm, Zuko, you lead the rest of the group along the hallway and towards the door. As you open up, you can see that tent space has still been erected there. It's still there. For the sake of brevity, I'll say that you are kind of like greeted by the doctor, who will have you all don these clothings to be able to enter into this space.
Is that Aarakocra friendly stuff?
It'll be tight for the wings, but I'm sure you can. Yeah, you can all get in your gimp suits.
Oh, lovely. Zip the mouths.
Make
Your
sure you
head
haven't
to-
already got one.
Whoa. I brought my own from home.
Aria just pulls out
Yeah,
her
I
own.
came prepared.
Can't give this one
This one I
special
made
occasion.
For those of you that don't know me, I am Dr. Holden Pike. Please refrain from touching the patients. They are in a tenuous position.
Dr. Pike, I'm afraid we have perhaps distressing information about these patients.
I urge you to tell me.
When we discovered the Illithid hub of communications in the abandoned wing, we also came to the realization that the subjects might be being used for Illithid reproduction. We have since learned from the information in the hub that the way that this is performed is an Illithid tadpole is inserted into the brain of
You had.
a human creature.
You mentioned there were potential brain anomalies.
I did. I'm quite unsure what you are referring to here.
I'll look at
A
Eredhel.
tadpole. Some sort of virus? Fungal infection, perhaps?
Not quite. A parasite might be closer to what you might have experienced, but the Illithid will hatch a tadpole, a baby, an infant, but in order for it to survive, it must be implanted in the mind of a humanoid creature, where it
I see.
takes over the mind and eventually transforms into an Illithid.
That is distressing.
We
I
think
believe this to be the case with the patients here.
it is a definite possibility. Would you be averse to... I have some experience in this field of work. Would you be averse to letting me see? I do not have to touch them.
What is your procedure?
I use my training to be able to identify the mind of a creature.
What does that mean?
It would take a long time to explain, and as things are, we do not have a lot of time. If you are comfortable with me observing the patient then it should only take a short while, and I can explain to you afterwards.
Your procedure is not invasive and will not cause unneeded trauma to the patient. Then proceed, but I shall observe.
Right.
Walk over to one of the patients.
I'm gonna look at them because there's not really anything that needs to happen physically for psychic whispers, so I'm just gonna look at them. What I'm trying to do with this is I am trying to see if there's two minds in one body that I'm connected to. So I'm gonna open up psychic whispers and then see if two minds connect with me.
Alright, roll me a charisma check.
And to
Oh
become.
god! Oh god! Not a charisma check. Oh
dear.
no!
Oh yeah.
Alright.
Alright, as you focus your mind and activate that ability, focusing it on the individual in the bed before you, you attempt to connect, which you do. First thing you notice is absolute silence. There is nothing anymore. No screaming, but no real thought. And you don't sense another presence.
Okay.
As far as you can tell, this particular individual certainly does not have one.
Okay. I'm gonna turn back to the doctor, and I'm gonna almost gesture like with my hand, like I was going to like touch them and say, "May I?" Just on the back of their head.
Proceed.
And then I'm gonna like, you know, touch the back of their head, like I'm feeling something, like feeling for something. They're all right. They've not been invaded. May I see the others?
What were you looking for?
Please let me roll high on deception for this. When a tadpole invades the mind, there is a lump of sorts, almost like a tumor on the back of the head, but it feels slightly different.
Roll me a deception check.
Please, God.
I'm gonna give you advantage on this because he don't know what the fuck this is.
Nice.
Yeah, 27.
27.
Jesus. He nods and like you can see that he's making a mental note of that, so that may
Giving
actually
false
pan out bad for
medical
you in the future.
Oh God. Okay.
We'll come back to that in 2 campaigns
Yep.
time.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Execution,
Right.
witch hunt executions.
Anyway.
He's got the lump.
got the lump. Kill him.
The black dot.
Oh god.
He's got the lump, yes.
So I'm gonna go around the other 4 as well, like
Okay.
doing the same thing. Do you want me to roll a charisma check for each of them, or?
I'm gonna have you do one more.
Okay.
One more for all of them, because that. Yeah, I just one more.
Oh, that's
Oh.
painful.
Yes.
Oh my
You-
God.
As you go round, you got that was a 9 for the fans at home. The process you go through, it feels the same. There's emptiness in their mind, no voice, no sound at all. Almost like it's void of anything,
Okay.
and no other presence that you can sense.
Okay. I mean, the meta in me is like panicking right now, but that's what it's going with. I'm gonna turn back to the group. They're all safe. They'll
Good.
live.
Thank God.
That is good news.
Yes.
Such good news.
I don't like that you enforced to write something there.
Keep up the good work, Doctor.
Okay. Yep, let's go. Oh God.
Doctor, have you heard any word about the progress on a dissection?
Yes, I was about to mention that to you if you wish to see the results.
That would be
yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
We'd really like that.
Really well. If you would follow me, and kind of steps into the quarantine area, like he begins to take his like overall stuff off. Underneath, you can see the kind of similar blue overalls that you've seen other staff members walking around in. This man looks to be in his probably like mid to late 40s. He's got very pox like scarred skin, with like this sort of strawberry blonde hair that's beginning to thin on the top, and quite a long face with a strong jaw, and a slightly curved nose as he kind of takes off his garments and places them in one of the baskets on the side near the door. And once all of you are prepared, he will begin to lead you down the hallway. You go to the far end, and find yourself leaving the medical ward and actually descending the stairs back down to that main floor, and then further down into a basement area where the stairs become metal, and you find yourself in quite a dark stone hallway, lit only by a few torches. Along that quite dreary space, you eventually come to a room which has effectively like tables out on the side, and some like, they almost seem like drawers, like metallic drawers, and you can see he walks over to one and begins to pull one open, and there within this kind of cooled space is the Eredhel corpse, which is beginning to go a very dark purple. The shade of the body is changing colour, and he begins to like move it onto the side and onto one of the tables, guided by another assistant who is already in the room. As he places them across, you can see where there have been incisions made, and begins to pull out a few papers and kind of shows you this sort of image.
Nice.
As he's been like, they're diagrams that are drawn of the dissection, and the elephant is kind of splayed out in front of you. So this is the corpse that you brought in. You called it a what?
Illithid.
Illithid. Well, it is quite unlike anything that I've ever seen. It is truly horrific. I was not here for the autopsy, but I have been briefed on the situation, and I have read the notes, and it is a very curious case. As you can see, it seems to have very human features in the form of arms, legs, digits, eyes, and a brain. If you look here, and he gestures towards the tentacles, which he uses some tweezers to kind of move aside and lifts the jaw up. Here you can see it has a circular mouth with these hard serrated teeth. We've noticed that the jaw seems to be capable of twisting, for warrant of a better phrase, a can opener.
Oh god.
He gestures down to where there's been some sewing on the stomach and slides some images across of the dissection of the torso. Its digestive tract is a complete mystery. Elements of it resemble that of ours, humans, but there's entire organs that seem to have an unknown purpose. Some appear to produce mysterious enzymes capable of breaking down soft, spongy tissue over rougher digestive materials, and this, we believe, and he points to like at 4 little sacs, 2 on each side. He notices and points towards them. We believe these to be 4 additional stomachs.
4 stomach. Like a cow.
It's like a cow.
Quite possibly, but the reasoning for this is unknown.
It might interest you to know that we've discovered what an illithid's diet is.
Which is...
Brains.
that would fit the information that we've found.
Explains the old mouth thing.
Indeed it does.
I'm gonna, like, smack his hand.
These tentacles are coated in a mucus and include a great deal of nerve endings, as well as being capable of flexing in multiple ways. In fact, their entire their entire nervous system even appears to be millennia more complex than ours. However, this appears to have a weakness to it. Whatever the benefit of this more complex neural system is, it has caused a vulnerability in the form of feedback. It may be possible to shut down this system with enough sensory overload. If you look at these and it gestures to some of the drawings, you can see like there are a significant amount of like nerve endings throughout its body, and like pulls over some images of like diagrams of human anatomy, and you can see it's incredibly more complex.
It's excellent that we finally have a lead on how to bamboozle these creatures.
That is not all. In addition, if you look at this cluster here, and he points to like where the nerve endings reach where the brain is. This cluster seems to have no apparent input, almost as if it connects with something not within the creature here itself. My best guess would be that it's an old system that has become redundant, but everything else in this creature is incredibly efficient. It would seem strange that a biological system like that would exist in such an efficient being.
Well, we can tell you what that is as well.
Which is?
Illithids have the capability to enter and speak to one another in their minds. I imagine that is what that is for.
You're serious?
Completely.
Telepathy.
This is an innately magical creature.
You know, if I did not have this thing laying in front of me and had not read the notes on its dissection myself by people I trust, I would hardly believe you.
It's not
I
surprising.
suppose I do not have a choice.
It's a
It
very
is
real
important
threat.
that you tell people about this threat. Thank you, Zuko. It is imperative that as many people as possible know of this. This is not the only one that is out there.
They need to hear it from people that they trust.
I can imagine information of such a being like this and so close to home would cause such chaos.
Perhaps. But surely it is better that they know.
I would be hard-pressed to disagree with you. But I have worked within many regions of this fine kingdom myself, and I would hazard a guess that perhaps those who are not medically inclined may not see it the same way.
You believe that people will trust their own instincts over that of science and proven medicinal experiments?
You do not.
Trust my own intuition over science?
I am asking if you do not believe that that would be the case.
It seems ridiculous that people would trust blind faith over evidence.
then you are in a position of privilege to know these things. There are many that are less fortunate than you and I to understand the world. And there are those that would prefer information like this did not get out. Art imitates life. All of the same, this creature is fascinating and by all means brilliant.
It is by no means brilliant.
The biology begs to differ.
It is well put together and efficient.
I certainly admire that. But I, as you mentioned earlier, certainly do not wish to look like one.
Definitely not. Well, thank you for the information that you've given us thus far.
We'd like to take those notes.
Of course. I have made copies.
Thank you. That's incredibly helpful.
By all means, this body is yours. You wish to do with it as you please. Or I can keep it stored here
I believe that
for
that would be
a
best.
certain amount of time.
If there are
I was
those...
told that there was another, but that one of its heads was removed.
Yes, so we're in possession of that? Is that right?
It's in the bag of holding. I gave
Yeah,
myself.
we're in possession of that.
The second headless corpse is here as well, but we have not dissected that one yet.
It might be a good idea that if people feel adverse to accepting this information, that they are brought here and shown proof.
Not every farmer and tradesman will venture
Oh,
here
no,
to
no,
the
no, of
mountains
course
to
not.
seek.
I mean people in higher positions, people with the ability to protect others.
Of course.
So we'll take these notes then.
He begins to kind of pile them together and places them inside a paper folder and hands them to you. It's a fairly, sizable folder.
I'm gonna thank him for his work, and then I think that we should get to messaging people.
Alright, so where are you going after this conversation to do this?
I
You're all
guess
in
the
agreement?
safest place to go would be just back to our room.
Alright. In which case, you're guided back out of the morgue and are able to head back up to the main level, through the campus, into the admin building and back to your rooms, did you say? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Cool. That short-term memory. Yeah, you eventually get back to your rooms, close the door, and you have some privacy. Day pushes on, obviously. What would you like to do?
I think that we should message people. So we'll start with Theodore, just to let him know what's happened at Durnstead, that we found out more information about the Illithid, and that there was a public attack, so that students at the university know and accept the existence of Illithid. And that we now have 2 bodies.
Mm-hmm.
If there are people who are in denial about it, come and see for themselves.
We do that now.
Spread the word.
Yeah.
Alright,
There's too many eyewitnesses here.
so obviously it's important to make note of what your how many sending spells you're using on each. So
Yeah.
Maybe one for Theodore, one for Cecilia, And do we want to use one on Aurilla to tell her
I
about the thing?
don't think that we necessarily need to message both Theodore and Celia if they're in contact with each other. We can just tell Theodore to. Like,
Theodore would be the
tell
better choice.
Cecilia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, Cecilia might not
Also,
appreciate us sending her a message.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably a
So
good
we'll
idea.
send one to Theodore because that's just an update. Like we can't, waste time having conversations with him. Arilla, we can ask. Do we need to message Arilla now that we've discovered like what we need to?
I'm just thinking from an arcane standpoint because they're looking at it from purely biological. I don't know if she might be able to look at it from a more magical way.
It's true.
Yeah.
It would probably be a good idea to let her take one of the bodies and these tadpoles.
That's
Yeah,
true. Actually,
At
that is a
the
good
very
idea.
least, we can just make her aware of it.
Yeah. So we'll message Theodore telling him about what's gone down here and that there are eyewitnesses. That if anybody's in denial about it, they can come and see the body themselves. Arilla to come and collect the body so that she can study it from an arcane viewpoint. Ryan Vargas to let them know that we will be coming to the Scale Skin territory to Razak-san.
Do we know it's
ready
there
for
And,
sure, or is that
well,
just an assumption?
We can
Yeah, we do have
ask
to ask.
them if
If they
they
do.
have come across anything.
Yeah, because we don't know
yeah.
it's there.
I mean, Vargas, if she may know the name Rezek-san's. Well,
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And then Sindri to ask if he knows anybody in the Empire who knows anything about psionics, because
While this is
we're in
going
a bit
on,
of a
because something's just occurred to me while this is going on. Because if we're going to send that message to Arilla, I don't want anyone giving her grief when she turns up here to take the body. So I'm going to warn the people, the dean and the people who are doing the autopsy that someone.
Well, they
I
said that it was ours to take, so if we take it and then hand it
I
over
know,
to
but
Gorilla,
like they're fine with us taking it, but like they don't know Arilla, so they might give her grief if she tries.
then we'll
to take
just
it.
go
Make sure
and we'll
they
give it to
know.
Arilla. Like, we'll just go down there and be like, hey, can we have the body? They'll give it to us, and then we can be like, hey, there you go. Nobody needs to know.
Just in
Arilla
case,
might
like,
not come here right now.
yeah, like just in case she
Oh,
turns
yeah,
up
yeah,
after the
okay.
ring.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna go down there and just take the time while they're doing the messages to just inform them of the situation.
I'll go
Okay.
with you because I'd like to
Okay.
speak to the dean.
All right.
So that's 4 messages.
So
Oh.
what are your messages?
Oh. Right. So yeah, Oh, should we write that down? Like my brain's foggy. Sorry.
It's all right.
First one to Theodore.
Yeah.
Okay.
We just fill it just to make sure. We're just filling him in what's happened here, essentially.
Yeah.
Oh god.
I'm writing
We
it
can
at the
come back to
moment.
We can come back to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
No problem. In which case, Aria, you want to go and see the dean?
Ken, say, didn't you want to come as well?
I mean, I'm going there to just inform him about that. So if you want to skip past my boring bit and just go straight to whatever you do, I'm literally just doing bureaucratic stuff. I'm just telling them what's going to happen.
Okay. Well, I mean, I just wanted to tell him to make sure he ups security because my fucking sister's here, and if anything happens to her, I'm gonna fucking come for you. And to spread the word. If there's any towns or villages near here, get the word out that these things are real and they're a threat.
Okay. All right. You head up. You head up to the office. He is there, and you're able to inform him of that.
Mm-hmm.
Whether he takes that information and rolls with it, I guess you'll find out. But he certainly listens to what you have to say, given the situation.
Given you're going to beat
Give
his
us a
ass
brief,
if you don't do it.
I mean, I'll intimidate him. I'll try. Do I
Sure,
have good
roll me an
intimidating?
intimidation
Because
check.
my sister's here. If anything happens to him, he's the first one I'm coming for. Intimidation. Well, never mind then. God damn it.
think, as someone who has dealt with noble parents who have brought in their parents to complain about many things, he's had I'll have your head if you don't blah 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 many a time, and he doesn't seem fazed by it, but he kind of nods.
As long as he heard the get the word out, because he can't fucking ignore what was below his uni.
Yeah, no, I'll inform him of the arrival of Varilla, possibly. Happening.
All right. Okay. So with that, is there anything else that the two of you want to do, or are you heading back to the group in the room as they do their messages?
I'll head back.
Okay. So you head back to the room, where the messages go ahead.
Yes.
So that's the one to Arilla.
And that's the one up to Theodore.
Okay.
So I'll roleplay it out as well. So
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, because obviously the chat's not on anyway, so.
yeah. So this one to the Theodore first. Ferra Carta here. We have uprooted an illicit camp at Darrenstead. Yeah. 2 dead bodies available for inspection. A public sighting. Several eyewitnesses.
Okay.
And you want wait for response. Did I get any response?
There is a response that comes through momentarily as you imagine he processes the information. Excellent. Good to see that your mission was successful. Bodies. Perhaps good for learning something about our enemy. Perhaps now the others will trust us.
Okay, I'm not gonna bother with a reply to think keep my spell slots. I'll go into the next one for Arilla.
Yeah.
Storm here. I don't know if it was that 20, it's not 22, is it? Storm here. An illicit body is at Darrenstead University for you to inspect. If you find any information about them, please let us know. Hope you're well.
Okay. And another moment goes by as you imagine information is once again being processed.
Who's Scry? Who is?
Excellent. Excellent. I shall be there momentarily to inspect it myself. No, she won't, because she doesn't know where it is.
I did think about that. Fuck.
So I take that back. She doesn't know where it is. She has no way of getting there.
What, Darrenstead?
Yep.
Oh, shit.
So I take that back. Instead, what she says is, excellent. A thorough investigation would be beneficial for us. Is there means of getting there through my talents? I'm not sure where this place is.
I'll send a reply.
Okay.
You've not been here before. It's David. In the mountains. Best way. Not sure best way for you. Risky teleport. So,
This is unfortunate. Never been to David before. Know of its xenophobia. Inspection will be difficult. Bring to me.
I don't know if I'm gonna use another spell slot.
Sure, cool, dude.
No, I don't have enough to do because I'm sure I'm gonna have to do a few back and forth for these other people. Yeah, let's do Rye next. Rye, it's Storm. Wondering if you or Vargas have any knowledge of Camp Rajasthan. If so, tell us what you know. We'll be in touch.
You send a message and wait. There's a longer pause here until eventually you do hear Rye's voice. Neither of us have heard of Razazan, you said? I'm sorry I can't be more helpful. If we come across it, we'll try to let you know.
Okay, I expect that half. I don't think there's anything else to be said there. I'll go for. Oh, no.
Oh no.
Oh, no. Hi. It's Ferra Carta. We're wondering if you know anybody who has expertise in psionics, and if so, where to find them. Appreciate any help.
So, you finally came calling. Understandable. My knowledge is very useful. I may know of some that could help in this endeavor. We should have a real conversation. That's it.
I'd have relayed all this back to the group or the other.
Tell him
two
to come to
group.
Dernstead.
The sad bastard responded instantly. You just know he was waiting by the phone.
He can he can fucking teleport. I have a feeling he can teleport wherever he wants. We're not going back to a
He has a
teleportation
teleportation circle. We know
exactly. He can go wherever he wants. So tell him to come to Dernstead.
There's not a chance they have a teleportation circle here at Dernstead, is there? Have we asked?
Doubt
that?
it.
Doubt it. We're in the.
Yeah.
We're
in
in
the-
Magic is
Dayford.
illegal,
There's
isn't
not
it?
a chance.
But they had one in Daverton.
It was a druid.
The druids did, not
Yeah,
the
the
church.
Right,
The
okay.
church and the Verlimes Kingdom probably wouldn't be in favour of it.
I do really think we should get this to Arilla, but do we have the resources to do it there and back? We don't even know where Razazan is, actually, so...
No, we don't.
Are we
Perhaps
certain?
going-
Just tell Sindri to come here.
Let's
Right
see.
now?
Yeah. It's not like he's doing anything. Other than sitting hoity-toity in his tower.
I tell you, man, he's waiting by the phone. He's just sitting by his thing, waiting for us to call.
If he doesn't want to help us, then... we don't need him.
I'll waste one more resource on him and no more. How about you come to us? We are indisposed at the moment in Darrenstead University, David. must stay in area.
You are the one who asked me for assistance here. I too am indisposed. That's it.
I wish I could message.
Well,
And then what I'm gonna say is, he doesn't actually end there.
leaves a big pause.
There's a momentary pause before he finishes off with, and tell your friend Eredhel that I am not just sitting around in my tower.
Oh, he can hear us.
How could he hear that?
Because he's a fucking powerful wizard, probably.
He's
How did he hear that?
Ryan.
I mean, this is the point where we
What
usually
an
turn on
arse.
eyes of the something or other and see something floating. in the
Yeah.
corner.
He's a level 20
You can
wizard.
imagine.
He's a level
like,
20 wizard.
I don't think it's too much to venture that you messaged him, like asked him for help, and immediately he was a
Right.
nosy little cunt and wanted to see what was going on. Like, what's happening there? Why are they asking
Yes,
me?
sad little man. He has nothing to do but watch us, honestly.
Storm relay that information.
He said, well, you can talk to him yourself. He said he doesn't just sit around in his tower, isn't that right, Cindy?
Sindri, if you're listening right now, can you please not be an ass for 2 seconds and help us? But perhaps, maybe, there might be something in it for you as well.
Who's got the illithid head?
Can
Me.
can she threaten the air?
I can get it out. I can really get it out of the bag. I'll reach into the bag of holding and grab the elephant head and just hold it up.
This is what we're dealing with, Sindri.
All
Stop
I'm
watching that 5
saying
minutes
is
ago.
that it
Yeah.
might be a good opportunity for him to be able to redeem himself.
Back in.
There is a. You feel like a tickle in your mind, Eredhel, not from the Elithid, but from the receiving
Here
of
we go.
something. Now you have my attention. How did you defeat such a creature?
I don't think that we defeated 2. Or more than that, even.
Actually, he already knows about the
Psionic.
fight in Emberforge.
Yeah.
Yeah, Emberforge. So I take that back. In fact, he turns around.
Turns around.
You know what I mean. Instead says, once again, you have fascinated me. I take it that this creature was within your current situation, Denstead? No?
Yes. Denstead University. There was 3 of them. 1 fled, 2 we killed.
I am no fool. I know that coming to the north would be a risky encounter for myself. Return here, and we will discuss. I have powerful friends.
How can we be sure that you have the information that we need? If not, it would be a wasted journey.
Have we realised that Eredhel's talking to someone yet? Or...
I'm speaking out loud because he's scrying.
Who are you talking to?
Shut up.
Hey.
What did we just talk about?
You can assume
Point
it's
into my
Sindri.
head, like,
She's talking to Sindri.
slight moment passes before. Have a little faith. And that's it.
Oh my god, he's a fucking asshole!
Oh, we should have killed Sindri when we had the chance.
We had a chance.
You?
Wow.
You mean
Wow.
you or
Really?
the other you?
Yeah.
Well, the other me definitely.
The
I
other
reckon. Maybe.
I'm gonna relay what Sindri said. So he says that he won't talk to us unless we go to him.
Oh,
well,
that's not going to happen.
that's a shame.
Okay then, bye, Sindri.
It would be so helpful to have someone so powerful and handsome help us, but I guess
I
not.
think our best bet will be those people that approached you, Eredhel.
Yes,
The
they're much
Sisters of
closer,
Ogma.
right?
They're in David.
However, other plan, we deliver the bodies to Orilla and research where Razazan is.
Would there be anybody who knows where Razakzan is?
I don't know.
They have a library here, right? It wouldn't hurt to maybe have a quick look.
How many days have passed since we got our calculation that it was going to be a month until these things come?
Like,
Probably
not- yeah.
3, 4, maybe.
Just a long
If that-
shot. Those notes on the that expedition that you found, Storm, that isn't linked anyhow. That's not Razazan, was it?
The name is not in the notes.
No, it wasn't in the notes actually.
It would be a weird coincidence, I suppose, but.
It did have a name. Well, no, it didn't
And,
have a name.
well, perhaps it's not a coincidence. Perhaps that's why there's a lab here in the first place. Perhaps the first people to be abducted, who went on that expedition, found something there that was related to the Illithid somehow.
Yes, it mention where it was in relation to where we are now.
Let me have a look.
It was on the horn of.
I have a.
But we know where it is.
Yeah, we do. It was on
We-
the.
So on
I
the
know that.
on the coast.
Yeah, there's like a little.
If it's
Can't remember.
nearby, it wouldn't hurt to have a look. I
Put you on
don't
there.
mind taking you on a flight in Taxi Gaiac again.
What's a taxi?
You know,
Fun.
like the carts, like the horse and
Something from
carts
my
that take you
homeland.
to and from events.
You mean a
Oh, like a
coach?
pony,
A
like a
horse and
pony.
carriage?
Yes.
It's along the fjords of Ranu.
That's it. The fjord. Yeah, there. So it's not
But
too
that's
far.
where Razazan is.
Well, no,
No,
that's where
that's
this
where the
ruin,
ruins are.
where the
Right.
first person who was
Mhm.
abducted by Lithid went a little while before he was abducted.
So we might be able to find the location there.
So where are we at right now?
It's a
on this
lot
map?
of traveling.
We're there. We're
Yeah.
right near it. We're here.
That's where it is. It says
How
like 3 days
how
travel.
long would it take with
3
a
days.
flying
That's what they
speed?
said.
Well, with a flying speed of 60, if I do a certain thing, how long would that take to get there?
I mean, so flying and moving speed generally are technically meant to be specific combat.
Yeah, I
things.
know, I know.
But I'll give you kind of a bit of a leeway with it. Maybe 2 days. Depends on the weather. Depends if you know where you're going, get the direction right. Because if you're not following the roads, it's less easy to follow maps.
What if we found a student who went on the expedition? They might know the name of it. They just didn't write it down. In those
I
notes.
think the most easy thing for us to do would be to see if we can find it in a library. If that comes to no avail, we have a cohort of professors and
It may
studiary
be-
people who might know where it is.
It's entirely possible that this is a Illithid city. And if that is the case,
Possible.
we aren't likely to find it in any books or through any experts. Until a couple of hours ago, these people thought these creatures were myths.
It's still worth a look.
So have a quick check whilst we're here, I suppose. If we put our minds to it.
I only say because I think that if we don't find anything in the library, asking experts may not yield any further results. And we need to be economical with our time here.
The reason.
One-
Sorry.
we've wrapped up research here, do we proceed to the... Sorry, what was the name of the psionic order that contacted Eredhel again?
Ogma.
The
Sisters of Ogma.
yeah, that's it.
Sisters of Ogma. I believe it might be a good idea to move on to either the Sisters or Sindri next.
I'm just concerned. They might have something that will help Eredhel.
I agree.
That is a everyday issue.
Regardless of whether these people know anything about the Illithid, they have somehow managed to achieve psionics without their influence.
What if it's not without their influence?
If it is with their influence, then they have somehow managed to maintain their independence from the Hive Mind. And that is also important information.
I told my mother about them, and she seemed to think that they were a bit wishy-washy with it. She kind of brushed it off as, not.
That makes
Is your
me
mother
want
the
to
kind
go
of
even
person-
more.
If I may ask, and you may or may not think this is forward, considering you certainly don't like your mother very much, but is it possible that your mother may just be... what's the word? I don't really know the polite way to say it. What was that phrase that Arya used once when she was talking about one of the nobles back in Verlum? Up their own ass.
Just
Well,
the Verlamese
that's-
nobility?
That does describe my mother.
My point is, would she dismiss these people as being beneath her and not even bother to investigate?
Possibly. But
Or would
she's given us accurate information thus.
Would she conceal it from you? For any reason?
True.
Not if we are talking about the situation that we are in right now. The reason she concealed information from me before was because she did not believe that it was a possibility that I could be a danger to myself or others.
Okay.
As soon as I let her know that that was the case, her tune changed quite drastically.
Of course, there's also the possibility that she simply didn't want you to associate with these people because it might distance her control over you.
That makes
That
me
is
want
true.
to go even more.
Alright. Well, if they can help, then excellent. If they can't, then I know that Sindri is irritating at the best of times, but you have to admit he will have some powerful friends.
And Sindri's in Deep Bay, right?
Yes.
So we're
And
back
the
in
fact that the Illithids really do not want the elves to be involved makes it more appealing to me.
There has to be a reason.
Working with Sindri seems about as appealing as rolling a bed of thorns, but I would rather do that than see the coast fall to the Illithid. I think it might be a good idea after we're done researching here, if the group is alright with it, then we'd go to investigate the sisters. Worst case scenario, they don't know anything about the Illithid, but we can recruit a possible ally who knows about psionics to help us against a psionic enemy.
Yes.
Yes.
Best case scenario, they do have information and we can still recruit an ally that knows about psionics.
Brilliant.
And
So
then
should we
from
head
there-
there next, then?
I think we might be a good bet.
Alright.
Though I will say, didn't they invite us or you, and we didn't turn up?
Yes. But,
We should probably prepare for a frosty reception.
well, where haven't we received a frosty fucking reception?
Fair enough.
Sounds like a plan.
Right, I'm going to assist Storm then on his research because his intelligence is through the roof. And mine is
Make some teleportation stuff.
Alright.
Oh, pardon me. Oh no, we can just travel to David, can't we?
Where we already.
next door.
Yeah.
So, you
We're not far
wanna
away
do some
now.
investigation?
Go to the
Are
right.
you looking to investigate the library here? Is that what you're suggesting?
Oh, did we want to do that
Before
first?
we
Then-
leave, is that the
Yeah,
plan?
we'll do
Yeah,
that before we
yeah.
leave, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Let's all
I-
just like traipse through the library, see if we can find anything to do
Yeah.
with Sussex Farm.
I know fuck all about any of this, so I'm just going to assist Storm.
Be my book
Alright,
jockey.
fair enough. Okay.
I have,
Uh,
yeah, I have a history proficiency, if that's enough.
Same. So do I.
I'm gonna look specifically in scale skin stuff because to me, like I saw that and I thought that sounds scaly, doesn't it? That sounds like yes, it has next time. I know it well. Like that's what I thought. So I'm gonna look if there's any
fair enough.
sections like the library of that.
Okay. I don't think you've been in here before, so this is the first time that you've actually been able to set foot in here. And as you do so, heading through those two front doors that has library written above on the outside, it leads to a foyer and front desk, which itself is a simple room with a trolley for return books on the side, and you can see an open doorway that leads into the library proper. The main atrium is an open floor with a wide view right up to the domed roof above. The interior is circular shaped, as are the ascending floors above, whose balconies can be seen from the middle of the room. Every space beyond the centre is filled with bookshelves, themselves stocked with tomes. At the centre, on the ground floor, are comfortable seats near coal burners and desks and large group study tables. At the moment, though, the coal burners are cold, as the interior is almost completely empty. With the lockdown of the university at present, no one is being permitted to set foot in here right now. Nestled away on the upper floors, you can see the occasional private study space, in addition to some very clear private rooms, likely for studying in group stuff, hidden among the maze of shelving. But with the library to yourselves, you can head in and attempt to do some research. So, who would like to roll?
I would.
I would also.
Investigation.
Yep.
I.
Yeah, damn it.
Oh, whoever's rolling it, I'm going to assist them. Okay. Shit.
18.
Yeah,
for
I'm
me.
gonna add a psionic dice to it as well.
Wait, is everyone rolling or is this? Sorry, I'm very
I
confused.
feel like everyone is rolling
What?
now at this point.
Okay, I said I was.
Wow.
I said I was
I got the highest.
I said I was assisting Storm.
Oh my god, Storm rolled a 1 and got higher than me.
Wow.
With guidance.
Who got the highest?
Me.
Aria. Okay.
Aria smashed it.
Smashed it,
So
mate.
as you peruse the books and the shelving, you spend a couple of hours going through areas trying to figure out what the meaning of this word or name even might be. And in that time of researching, none of you even come across the word. I'd say Aria, you do find out, some. You get some like information on the Scale Skin territories, predominantly on the different kind of cultures that are in there. So you'll have that kind of information if you need to.
Yep.
But otherwise, that name doesn't come up. But you know that there's a number of just to kind of to make it fairly speedy. You would see some books that are kind of like detailing on. This is more of like anthropology, that detail the culture of some of the different Basques in what is referred to. Jay might have to correct me here. Strazkis, which is the term that is used by the lizard folk in there, and you see a reference to. God, I can't even remember. It'll take me. I won't be. I'll need to search for it. But Jay, what are they called?
To which
The people.
Oh, the people. Oh god.
The actual race itself. I mean.
I want to make sure I get the pronunciation right.
Yeah, because I don't want to butcher it either.
I should have this open. Where is it? Right, here we go. They are, I think, is. I know the first. I know all but the first syllable. I know I made it quite complicated.
Chat.
Yeah, we could come back to it if we need to. But yeah.
Schlicksel.
So
That's it.
Schlicksel, that's it. Schlicksel, as being referenced to the native tongue name for lizard folk. You'd also kind of get some information that there are different Basques within those territories, and kind of like this very central space, which is mostly kind of abandoned. There's just some details on that, but again, that name does not come up in any of that research.
Okay.
With that revelation, what would you like to do?
No, why waste time, right? Shall we just go
Go where?
to the sisters?
Why not?
The sooner we can get some advice on how to deal with the tadpole, the better.
Did anyone learn anything about Razak-san?
Nothing.
No.
Come back quite dry.
Shame.
Would it still be worth asking any of the students that were on the expedition about the camp? Just a quick conversation, see if we can gain some more information.
Do we
It may
know
be-
any
it may
of
be
the
important.
students?
No, it wouldn't
Could
be
ask
too-
around.
Yeah, I'm sure someone would be able to tell us. There'll be records.
You know the course. You know the course that went.
It was like archaeology, wasn't it?
I think that it might be worth asking the Volkmar if they know what Razak-san is. Because it seemed like it's a thrall encampment that is designed to try to attack David. So if they're just outside of David, then they might know something. I don't know. Just worth a shot.
I agree, we should gather as much information as we can. It wouldn't hurt just to ask as many questions as possible.
It's a good idea.
Right. Shall we get going then?
Are we not gonna ask?
What?
We could see if the dean could send us the way of a dorm of a student who was on the trip.
Yes. That sounds
Oh
good.
yeah, sorry. I wonder what you were talking
was
about
like,
then. I was
wait.
like, I just said that we would ask.
Great plan. Anyway, let's leave. Yeah,
Alright.
we'll do that quickly then. We'll go and see if the dean can find us anyone who was on that specific journey, that trip.
Okay. So, leaving the library, you head back to the admin building with the intention of meeting with the dean to find out any information. Perhaps
guy.
speak with the potential students that went on the expedition, and hopefully find out a little bit more information about where they came from and what exactly went on there. And I think because of the time, we'll end it there for this week.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oi, therapy.
Therapy.
Well,
yeah.
partial therapy for me anyway.
After, yeah.
Partial.
Most of what I had to say was Eredhel, and we had other things to do.
Don't worry, we'll
Alright,
have our
well.
time.
Obviously,
yeah, I remember.
we'll be back next Sunday for another game. But before we sign off for the evening, we'll do our shouts again. So, Mitch, you want to start things off?
Tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, we're doing Natural Wonders Star Wars one-shot with a little bit of a city twist, so be there, it's going to be super fun.
Oh yeah.
That's 7 PM, BST, GMT +1, whatever you want to call it. Twitch.tv/Natural Wonders. I also stream on another channel called Twitch.tv/Lambent Rain. That's just me. I do stuff, I drive cars, I kill people on Dead by Daylight. It's good fun. That's me.
Thank you very much. And Maya?
Yeah, I am a streamer. I do things on Genshin Impact and a few other games with my friends. You should check it out. It's Anamea going over there. Look at my taters and my tractor and that. Everybody!
That was certainly a shout out.
Norfolk.
And Sam?
Norfolk!
Yeah, let's do the other half of the half shout out I did before. Sam JKP on YouTube and Twitch. If you like Pokemon, if you like making animals fight that have been stuffed into tiny little balls, then yeah, come and watch.
Thank you for that, Sam. And lastly, of course, is our Discord. If you want to stay up to date with all the stuff that we do in the campaign, any announcements or notifications, including things like the alien game, which we're going to try and do at some point. The one-on-one sessions that occasionally happen, and all the maps and handouts and stuff that the players will get to see. Make sure to join the Discord for the benefits of seeing all that fun stuff. I suppose with that, I think that's gonna be us for the evening. So we'll see you next week, same time,